Welcome to Self Perfected.
Your co-host. All right, there we go.
All right, we're here.
Hello.
Let's go.
Listen. Strap in. Mitch is not here. Strap on. See, it's already getting spicy. We have no police, no guide rails, no one to keep us on track. So
Yeah,
wherever we
Mitch
go.
has some kind of excuse, like they're having a baby or something. Like, okay, yes,
I guess. Sure.
fine.
I get it, I guess. I want to
Um,
be there for the baby. I mean, you know, I was watching this video. I think you sent it to me, and it was of some really butch dyke. I don't know if that's proper terminology, but
I don't know
you,
if it's
you get what I'm saying.
legal terminology.
Legal. It's legal.
Maybe
But anyway,
BlackRock gets their way.
well, if BlackRock gets their way, that will be the least of my worries.
Like, I don't understand why I got turned down for this home loan, and they're like, "Sir, on July 24th, did you use the term dyke?"
Actually, that was July 28th. Oh, yeah. There it is.
Oh, see, you got it wrong. Okay, you got us. Yeah, dude, that's why I had you watch Brazil. I'm trying to get you prepared for that world. If you can just find the little loophole or whatever and get around with the paperwork.
Yeah. Like it's I don't know. I don't know. There was clearly a typo on the paperwork, and she still couldn't get it fixed. You know, that's a deep cut. You got to go watch Brazil to get that joke.
I'm gonna make the Cameron cut of Brazil and just take out all those weird scenes with the dude flying around with wings and shit, and just like get rid of that shit.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like that would take away from the movie, from the experience. I think it adds a lot. It adds, you know, I've been reading the same book you're reading.
Of course,
And
I read Hyperion's. No, wait, it wasn't Hyperion. I'm
yeah.
thinking, what did I read? Oh, but I read another series. That was the issue. Because I'm like, how did you catch up with me? But it's because I took a break in the middle of the thing.
Yeah. Dude, I
I
don't
read
know.
Hyperion a long time ago. But
I
now we're
really
reading all of Hyperion, right?
I really enjoyed Hyperion a long time ago. Like that
You read
was
it a while back too.
no. Sorry. I was just repeating what you said.
Oh, I was like, why'd you take a break?
No. Sorry. I'm just saying I really enjoyed Hyperion. That's what I meant to say.
Oh,
It, dude, that story. Hold on. The story with without giving any spoilers, but the story with the baby, I was really moved by that. That was
yeah.
really well done.
And also, when you're reading Fall of Hyperion, I mean, because I know you're reading it, isn't it like, oh, dude, I didn't even know what the fuck was going on in Hyperion, actually.
Well, okay, so
I don't feel that way when I'm reading it. I didn't feel like confused,
yeah.
but you also didn't really understand the why of anything.
Right.
So,
Okay,
so it's like it's a sequel worth reading because it's not just continuing the story. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
getting more
It's like
depth on
you're
the
getting
first
more
part.
understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty
definitely.
good.
Because like I'm understanding now, like right now where I'm at is um Dure just came back, right?
Mhm.
And the CEO is basically like exploring the other worlds. So I'm sure you know where I'm at. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and like just that in itself, I'm learning more of like, oh, there's another motive here. There's like, okay, something, and yeah, they're using the word betrayal right now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is getting good,
Yeah,
spicy.
I want to shout out Katie because she kept getting me wanting to get me to read it.
Yeah,
Anyways, every morning I'll get up and be like, okay, so now I'm on this part, kind of like you're doing right now. And
yeah.
she'll just sit there with like a big grin on her face, like, like, and I'm almost like, are you mocking me? I'm like, I know I don't understand. And she's like, you'll find out. I'm like, like it's like that point of like, oh, you think you understand, you don't understand.
I do the same thing with Christine because like she's reading the Foundation series right now. She's catching up. She reads like like you know how I'm taking a while to read because like I'm falling asleep while I read. She like is like speeding through these books and she'll tell me like, oh, I'm reading this part and I'm like I'm getting close to the end. I'm like, where are you at? Tell me, explain to me what you're reading. She'll like start explaining to me. I'm like, oh, okay, you're gonna like the next part. Like, and then it's fun.
What is she on right now? What are you reading, Christine? I don't know if she's here. She is
she's
omnipresent and she speaks through us, so you can speak for her.
yeah, I think she's reading
At least
oh
I think
oh
it's called Foundation.
she's no, she just finished Foundation and Earth. Is that it? Is that where you're at? No, she said no. She said no.
This portion of the podcast is brought to you by Tor Books.
She's reading Foundation and something Foundation.
Foundation.
Foundation and Earth. Oh, Foundation and Earth. That's what I said. What do you mean?
Yeah, she's just confirming what you said.
Okay.
I don't think she's arguing with you, Drake.
Okay. All right, good. Uh, thanks for being a mediator. We really needed that, a couple of counseling.
Yeah.
We don't need a couple of
Okay.
counseling.
So, anyways, now we've talked about our book reviews. She said she finished Foundation's Edge.
Okay, yeah. So she's reading Foundation and oh, okay, yeah. You're right. All right. Gotcha.
The titles mean nothing to me anymore. I don't remember anything.
She
Oh,
just finished visiting Gaia. I'll say that. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So now she's like exploring the rest of the planets. Still means nothing to me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my
The whole thing
favorites.
with Melissa No B, Pia, whatever her name is, was very weird.
Bliss. Oh yeah.
Very
Yeah,
weird.
Bliss. Yeah, Bliss is. I thought that was interesting. It like the way she's described. She's like really like she sounds beautiful.
Jake's like, it just sounds so, just like great.
She's meant to sound beautiful. She's
I know. You know what I like about Asimov though? It's like none of it's like pornographic.
no, yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I've definitely read sci-fi where it's like you're watching an R-rated film basically, and you're just like,
yeah.
I wouldn't want my kids to read it, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, like, there's a little bit of that in Hyperion with like
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Assad.
But not. It's not.
It's
How
not
do I explain it?
gratuitous, I would
It's
say.
not. I mean, it
Like it's
is,
not.
but it's not like, yeah, it's not gratuitous. It's graphic, but it's not gratuitous.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
unnecessary to the point of what they're doing. It's not every other. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
still wouldn't want my kids to read it, but it's like there's a
Right.
point to it. Yeah. Or like, for example, what's the classic? Metamorphosis of Prime Intellect.
Okay, that is gratuitous. That
But it
it
is
gets the
necessary for the it's
it
to a point.
does it is necessary. I get it, but also like I would definitely not want my kids to read
I would
that.
not recommend that book for children. Anyone under the age of 37.
Dude, okay, yeah.
Have some life experience before you read that book.
Anyone under the age of 37. Wow. I'm under the age
Although,
of
if you're
37. Wait a
watching
minute.
the Olympics, this book might be right up your alley.
This book might be mild compared to if you've been watching the Olympics.
Christians, don't read it.
That's pretty funny. Dude, okay, yeah, let's talk about the Olympics because we don't watch the Olympics. I mean, like
You have to have a TV, don't you?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's so funny because Christine's like, I feel so disconnected from the Olympics. Like I don't care about the
Yeah.
outrage.
I never
Yeah.
really was into it,
Yeah.
but I guess I don't know. When I was younger, it was like seemed like a big deal. I mean, I guess I thought the World Cup was a big deal before, but I don't give a shit now. Like,
Um, I would say like the biggest thing I remember from the Olympics is Usain Bolt.
see, I never
And
watched those ones. That was after my time.
well, I enjoyed watching Usain Bolt and being like, yeah, that man can run. He's fast. And Michael Phelps, I guess. but I never watched really Michael Phelps. Like I'm not into swimming.
Pretty fun to watch. Sorry, Sam.
Sorry, Sam. Yeah, it is boring. Yeah, but
Hey, we should call Sam Sam I Swam.
Sam, I swam. I like it. Aqua swim. Aqua Sam. Aqua Sam.
All right. Anyways,
But yeah, no, it's interesting because I remember I remember the Olympics was being held in Beijing. When was that? Was that 4 years ago? Is that the last one?
I don't know, 2008 or maybe I don't know. I
I
think it
don't
was
remember.
2008. I remember because someone wrote like it was 2008 kids banging on the drums or something.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember it, but just because I saw that, yeah.
So I just remember when it was being held in Beijing, it was sort of like this big deal, like, oh, it's going to be in China or whatever. I remember that being some discussion. Then when it was being held, or no, something else is held in Brazil. Was it the World Cup was held in Brazil? Maybe that's what it was. I
Yeah,
don't
there
know.
was one a while back. Yeah, not too long ago. But yeah,
When that was going on,
Brazil lost like 7-0 some match or something ridiculous. And it was like crazy. Yeah, it was insane.
geez.
Really bad.
But I remember there being talk of like how they were building this massive stadium and all this stuff and like how it was impoverishing the area around it
Yeah, yeah.
and
And
all
then they
this
just
stuff.
don't even use the stadium later, barely.
Right. And so like I always hear about the country that it's gonna be in and like what controversy is surrounding the decision to have the Olympics there or the World Cup there or whatever. And this year,
Oh yeah, like I didn't even know there was an Olympics until a couple days ago, basically. Like, oh,
right?
okay, yeah, there's an Olympics now. Like, I don't know, does anyone give a shit about the Olympics anymore?
I don't think so. I like what's the
I talked
purpose of
about
the
it.
Olympics?
Huh?
What
Maybe it's
is the
just
purpose?
it's a satanic ritual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, no. Could you elaborate?
that's it. I mean, it's no different than the Super Bowl, is it?
Mm, yeah,
Okay, like
okay.
remember we talked about that whole thing Candace Owens brought up with the Jet Propulsion Laboratory
Yes.
and that guy being part of the OTO with Aleister Crowley and
Yeah, yeah.
satanic. The thing is, man, like go read. Well, anyways,
Can you put on headphones? Because like
yes,
you keep cutting out.
yeah, yeah. I was just charging them up. Give me a second here. Actually, I'm gonna recommend a book to everybody.
What's the book?
60%, not bad.
Okay. All right. I've never heard of this book. 60%. Not bad.
It's not. Oh, there we go. I'm connected. This portion of the podcast is brought to you by Bose. All right. So there's this author named Colin Wilson. I think I talked about him on a podcast or maybe in a video I did. I'm not sure. And he wrote this book called The Outsiders, or The Outsider, The Outsider, The
Oh, okay.
Outsider.
Because I read The Outsiders and it was not by Colin Wilson.
No, 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 not The Outsiders. Yeah, The Outsider by Colin Wilson. I would recommend people read that book, and then it would give context for some of his other stuff. Um, let me just look it up real quick. The out.
Dude, I'm just
Not
reading a
right.
comment. Katie wrote some comments. She said, going back to what we were talking about earlier, you said you were going to make the Cameron cut of Brazil. She said the Cameron cut would be twice as long with cuts and tons of philosophical commentary and references to Hitler's speeches. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, that'd be like a commentary track. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The Outsider. It's a 1956 book by English writer Colin Wilson. Through the works and lives of various artists, H.G. Wells, Kafka, Camus, Sartre, T.S. Eliot, Hemingway, Hermann Hesse, T. Lawrence, Van Gogh, Nijinsky. Uh, he was the male ballet dancer. George Bernard Shaw, William Blake, Nietzsche, Dostoevsky, Gurdjieff. He explores the psyche of the outsider, his effect on society, and society's effect on him. So it's really cool. It's a really good book. Um, the book is structured in order to mirror the outsider's experience, a sense of dislocation or of being at odds with society. These are figures like Dostoevsky's underground man who seem to be lost to despair and non-transcendence with no
Can you
way
put this on
out.
the screen?
Sure. Well, I'm done with it now. Um, but it's really cool. Like it was like when I was really depressed, Katie gave me that book. And it didn't help. It kind of did and it kind of didn't, because it was almost like this point of the a person who's alienated from society feeling at odds with society, and that feeling you have within it. And that's where I was at that time. This was a long time ago, 2007 probably. It doesn't give you a solution, because if you keep reading all of Colin Wilson's works, he kind of goes into the area of like almost like super ego, of like almost like enlightenment type, like learning how to focus yourself and like kind of go into a state of like total focus and flow, and kind of like that kind of stuff. He was super into like Maslov, you know.
Mhm.
um and so I'm not recommending anyone read him from the perspective of some kind of fucking solution, but he does have some really cool ways of breaking things down, especially that's like his first book he wrote when he was like really young. And then he got also into the occult. And this is how I understood what the occult was really about. Because if you're a Christian, I'm trying to say that word with as much disdain as I can.
No, you gotta spit out the word.
Christian.
Yeah, there it is. Holla. Oh, sorry, wrong word.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time, guys. I know you're getting hit at all angles. The Olympics is smacking you. You got everybody else. I don't know. But yeah, in other words, if you're a Christian, you're like, oh, the occult's about worshiping Satan.
I like how
It's the
you're like,
devil and all this stuff.
I like how you're like, I'm giving you a hard time, guys. It's like you are choosing to identify as this thing that's getting a hard time. Yeah. But anyway.
There's got to be like a meme there with that bicycle kid,
Yeah,
like me choosing to identify as Christian, and then like the stick is somehow, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Christians get persecuted.
yeah, why? Yeah,
And
why
then
is
you're
this
holding your
happening?
knee. Why am I getting persecuted?
It's like, maybe don't be Christian.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
No, I get it, Christians. Um, you're just the first wave. Okay, so what was I talking about? Christianity. Oh yeah, so
Dostoevsky.
the occult point.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's really what the occult stuff is really about. Is, I mean, I'm not saying it's not satanic, but it's about raising energy and using that to be able to be more powerful. That's pretty much it. It's so when you asked about the Olympics, that's why I was saying it's a satanic ritual.
Mhm.
It's really just about like getting a whole bunch of activity and energy moving to make money. That's the point of it, which is satanic. That's why Christians is such a joke. If they're like, I was texting with John Anthony this morning. He was telling me this story about he was talking to somebody. Long story short, person came in and was like arguing with him about Jesus, and so he was like looking into like, because he was talking about destiny principles, right? And they were like, well, that's all in the Bible, so why don't you just read the Bible? So he looked into the Ten Commandments, and he's like, well, is that in the Bible? So look at the Ten Commandments, and then he was like, I wonder if there's any point in here where you actually have to believe in God. And he's found that, I don't know if it's the fourth commandment or the second, or I don't know which one it is. Don't take the Lord's name in vain, right?
Uh-huh.
And uh, we were talking about what does that mean? Because I said, what do you think people think that means?
What people think it means is just don't say "God damn."
Right. That's why they don't like. That's why Christians don't like rap music.
Because they're always like, God damn.
They're like, God damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, right. So I was like, okay, but look at what does the phrase in vain mean?
Mhm.
And what does vain mean? And what is vanity?
Yeah.
Right. And what it comes down to is you're invoking the name of divinity, you're invoking the concept of a divinity, but are you invoking it to make the world best for all?
Right.
Or are you invoking it to keep people in their place, to feel morally superior, to
Yeah.
justify the system as it is? So
Yeah.
all these Christians, Matt Walsh, all these fucking now Candace, I mean, Candace Owens at least is still kind of trying to challenge the system, probably even more so than she was before.
Sure.
But we'll see how far that goes, obviously, because at a certain point you'll have to challenge that too. Um, but it's like you're using it in vain because it's going to be an excuse.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're just going right into it, aren't we?
Dude, I want to look up man, there was uh hang on.
So
Okay.
yeah.
I'm trying to look up like what is well anyway, it doesn't really matter that much. But I just want to find out the word that's used for Lord in the Ten Commandments because I think that'd be interesting to just to find that out.
Oh, I'm sure
But
it's Yahweh.
okay, so if it's Yahweh, if it is the case, let's just use that assumption, right? If it is the case that it is Yahweh, then it's like don't take what is, what was, and what is to come in vain. Don't take that in vain. Like and with what you just
Reality.
yes, what you just expressed is like what does it mean to take something in vain? Like how are you going to say like oh yeah we live in this divine world and like oh yeah and you know we have such a responsibility to praising our God or any of that, right? Even if you're just saying that, right? It's like, well, what are you actually doing? Well, I go to church on Sundays. I
Oh
read
yeah,
this,
like even if you just take it at the value of like it's about worshiping God,
right? Like
you're not even really taking that all the way.
every Sunday I go and I do the worship. Like, okay,
Like you should be on your knees all fucking day. At least the
dude,
Muslims take it seriously.
dude, okay. Consider this. What do they say you're gonna do in heaven? You know,
Right. Do it
just
now.
just worship God all day, right? Like just fucking do it. You could be in
Well,
heaven
if I
right
just
now.
sat around worshiping all day, I'd die.
And you'd go to
Hey,
heaven where you can
you're
worship all
accelerating
day.
the process.
No, but seriously, like, what does it mean to actually worship? Is like,
But hold on, hold
okay,
on. But just real quick, people might feel like, oh wow, you're totally mocking them. It's like, hold on. Okay, so don't do that. Stay alive, survive, go to work. And where's all that money go?
yeah,
Where does it go?
it goes to I don't know, like the business that
Uh,
like
but at the end
consumption.
of the day, where's it going?
It's going to the elite. I don't know, or
It-
to
it-
I don't
I'm
know.
just saying it's going to BlackRock.
Oh well,
You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's
is
all going to BlackRock
yeah,
because they
yeah,
fucking own everything, or a
yeah, yeah,
BlackRock,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then you sit here and complain
About BlackRock and their
when they try
control.
to shoot Trump,
Yeah,
when they fucking put trannies in the Olympics and all this shit. I'm like, but you should just be on your knees praising God all day because if you did that, guess what? They wouldn't have any money and they wouldn't be able to do all the shit you're complaining about. That's satanic. You're funding the fucking satanic ritual. You're on there watching the Olympics going like, I can't believe this is satanic. Can you believe this is satanic this year? I'm like, oh, you just realized the Olympics is satanic? It's like, what do you think the fucking point of it is? The whole fucking time since it started.
yeah,
When
yeah,
did it
yeah.
start? The Greeks. You don't think they were, they weren't Christian, right? They were pagans, right?
Of
Like,
course.
what the fuck? How do you get a bunch of Christians to do pagan rituals and not realize it? You know what I mean? You just
Oh, that's
pretend
actually
like
really
there's
easy.
some, it's super easy.
I mean, you just get them indoctrinated from a really young age into the Super Bowl, into football, into basketball, into all the sports. You get them indoctrinated into like fucking Easter bunnies. You tell them about Santa Claus. You get them to like do these
Dude,
rituals that they're
dude. I guess they probably didn't have live TV, I'm guessing, at the time. I'm sure they didn't. But they had the Olympics in Germany when
yeah,
Hitler was in power.
yeah. I think it was 1936, right?
make that make sense
Yeah.
if Hitler is this supervillain that everyone thinks he is.
Well, um, they didn't want to just stop and like they
you
didn't.
sent all of your fastest blacks to Nazi Germany. Why would you do that? Like, what are you doing? Why, America? Like,
you know what they so okay, because in the Holocaust Museum they try to they give their explanation of it,
what is
right?
the explanation?
The explanation is they were not aware of how bad it was over there,
It was like only 30% of a Holocaust.
right? And second of all, they didn't want to
Hold on.
oh.
I said Holocaust.
And every time you say the
Hold on,
Holocaust,
hold on. Didn't the Nazi flags clue them in?
they didn't get
Like,
it.
didn't they see all the Nazi flags? No, I know it's a joke.
They weren't aware. They weren't aware of what was going on.
What
Apparently,
about all the speeches Hitler was doing?
they couldn't translate them fast enough.
What about Mein Kampf?
Uh,
Hold on. Wow, how it just snuck up on us.
yeah, it just back then it was okay to be anti-Semitic.
You know, if they were fooled that easily,
Yeah.
I wonder if it's possible that we're still being fooled.
No, that's not possible. Like, once you get fooled, you can never get fooled again. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that was
remember Bush said
a
that.
Bush quote. That was
Yeah,
fool me, can't get fooled again.
fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, can't can't get fooled again. Nope,
Yeah.
not possible.
Oh, nope. So there you go. There you have it. So that is our philosophy on a lot of things. I saw an article actually
Wait,
recently.
where were we going with this though?
We
There
were
was somewhere.
going with oh, why did they send why did we stop the Olympics? Because it was like you're saying, it's a satanic ritual, right?
No, why did they send all the fast black people
To
to the
to
Olympics
the
if
I
they
mean
were gonna
to
if they hated
to
them?
Germany, to Nazi
Also,
Germany.
what's interesting is if you actually look into it, not the fucking retards who only studied what they learned in school telling you what happened. If you actually look at the actual shit from what people were saying back then, they loved Jesse Owens.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And
explain that. They weren't
and
like, get them out of here. They were like, oh my God, you're fucking amazing.
and
Wow.
in
Like, what a
fact,
specimen.
okay, so they said, oh, so also here's what they said. After so why did after the Olympics, what was being said by the Olympians when they came home, right? The Olympians, like Jesse Owens, was saying, I was getting treated better over there than I get treated here. And the explanation for that was Nazi propaganda is so good that they completely just like basically made it so that they didn't see any discrimination wherever they went. They basically explain it kind of like how when you
And
go to
also,
when,
it's
like
so good in America
yeah.
that we have to make you feel oppressed.
Hmm.
That's why you can't drink from the same water fountain. It's
Right.
because, I mean, dude,
No, you know what it
holy
is?
shit.
You know what it is? In America, we are just blatant with our racism. And that's why you
Yeah, at
can't
least
drink.
it's obvious.
Yeah.
It's
Over
not like
there,
you have to,
they're hiding it from you so that you
yeah.
think like we're gonna get canceled. I'm surprised we're not already canceled, but but yeah, it is so
But aren't these like legitimate questions and perspectives to look at?
um who's saying it's legitimate?
What? Me?
Who you don't get to say that it's a legitimate
Oh,
question to bring up. I mean, you know,
I'm just mean like if you're just following like common sense,
like
logic,
here's the thing.
if you're not just believing the narrative,
You would think that questioning a uh, medical intervention
no.
that was brought about with warp speed, just like so very fast, you know, and um, didn't really have time to test. You would think that questioning that would be okay.
You
But
would think.
YouTube says No, you would think that it would be legitimate.
I
But
think it's
YouTube says
okay
that
to
is
question it now.
not a legitimate. I just want to make sure that I say what YouTube wants me to say. Like
Yeah.
but really, it became like this self-policing thing
Yeah.
of like, I'm not allowed to say that. Remember all those videos that we would see of the guy who'd be like, the emperor's new clothes. He'd just hold up an empty hanger.
Hi, I'm Tony Lin. That guy was awesome, dude.
It was pretty funny. But like that's literally what you had to do. Like what is it that they say on Jimmy Dore all the time? And the vaccines are safe and effective, and like we would never question our YouTube overlords. And like he
Yeah.
says it every time now
Yeah.
because like it's become this like obviously it's stupid, but if you don't say it and you're questioning things, then you get deplatformed or demonetized or your video gets taken down. Like our videos got taken. We had videos that were taken down, So anyway, I guess, yeah, I was just kind of making the point of like, who says it's legitimate? Because the way that people perceive legitimacy is some authority gives you legitimacy, not based on common sense, like what would actually make sense.
It's like okay, how do you know all this stuff about God? Well, it's in the Bible, but how does that make it real? Because God wrote the Bible. How do you know? Because in the Bible it says God wrote the Bible. But how do you know that that's real? Like, if
Yeah.
I wrote something down and showed you it says God wrote this, how do you know that's not? Well, God didn't write that, but it says he did. Like, how do you know he didn't?
Remember we were having a conversation.
Also, if you read the Quran, doesn't it say God wrote that?
It
Well,
does.
that's not real. How do you know? And then they suddenly bring in this like trump card, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
well, I had an experience with Jesus.
Right.
So that verifies. Well, but Jews don't have an experience of
Well, hang
whatever
on.
they experience. What about Muslims? They don't experience what they have an experience with.
What about your 5-year-old having an experience with the Easter Bunny or with the Tooth Fairy?
Yeah. What about your 7-year-old having any experience with the priest at church because they're
Whoa.
a altar bearer and you'd let
Jeez.
them change their
Whoa.
Wrobes?
Whoa.
That never happens.
Whoa. Jeez. Jesus.
Jesus.
Give me some warning beforehand. Yeah. I was going somewhere with this. Oh, I know where I was going. So I wanted to bring in somehow into all of this Elon Musk because we've been talking about like all the stuff, all the events that have happened over the last 2 weeks ish, maybe a little bit more now. Like it's been an accelerated process when it comes to the disbelief in our media and what you shared that one day of the tweet from the clandestine guy. Let me see if I can pull it up. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember the content of it.
It basically was saying like the mainstream media was telling the truth for a little while, and then I'm in the wrong chat. I'm like scrolling and I'm seeing pictures of my daughter, and I'm like, why is this in the chat? Wrong chat. Um, Here it is. Oh, I gotta scroll past like a lot of fake. Oh, actually, let me uh let me show this first. Let me show this first. This will be good. This will be good. Okay. I think you guys will enjoy this. Let's just go ahead and share this. Here you go. Oh wait, let me make sure it's optimized for screen share for video. Okay. Just watch this, please. If you're listening, you should watch this part. Here we go. I saw this and I was like, I gotta send this to Cam.
Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama have officially endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
First off, wait a minute. Why is the
Don't,
phone?
just keep going. Yeah, we're gonna
Oh
come
my
back.
goodness. Michelle, Brock, this means so much to me. I'm looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
Former President.
That was it.
Hold on. Let me just share something real quick.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. Just saying. Okay. Do you see like when she goes like, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm scratching my head. Oh shit.
Oh no. You have
Um,
anxiety?
That means you're telling the truth.
Oh, okay. But this one is
This
Oh, is that
isn't
why?
that like a thing people go like,
Yeah,
isn't that like a thing people do?
is
What
that
does
why
that mean?
Pinocchio's nose gets bigger because that like nose
It's
is
more to
associated with
scratch.
learning? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I see it. Yeah. So okay. I just want to just can we watch it again? Can we watch it again? But
There's so many things about it.
yeah.
First
me
of
see.
all, it definitely sounds fucking AI.
I'm just gonna turn off the volume this time. Because I just want to show you. So it's like this newscaster. I'm like, oh. So when I saw the headline, you know, the first thing I thought
What?
was I was thinking like, oh, it'll be like Obama maybe giving a speech to like some dinner
Got
or
it.
something like that, or you know,
Right.
you know, like they're walking and the cameras are following them and they're like, yeah, no, we're so happy for Kamala. We're endorsing her, like something, you know, just off the cuff like that.
Sure.
But then when I saw this, and it's like she's walking on the phone, she's got the phone to her ear, but like away from her ear. And it's like on speaker. Like, how are we hearing them? I want to know.
It's being recorded?
Like, yeah, how are we hearing them?
No, exactly. It is fake. Like, I don't know if the Bombas actually endorse her or not. I don't know if that aspect is fake, but this is fake.
Definitely,
Okay,
this is fake.
Look, just play it. I want to comment, okay?
Hold
Just real
on.
quick.
Okay,
Go ahead. No,
okay.
you go. Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Here's what I wanted to say. I saw this on Instagram. I still have that Instagram app open.
Okay.
But I saw it on Instagram, and I
This
went
isn't
looking.
this isn't somebody's edit. This is MSNBC's Instagram page.
This is MSNBC, right? I went on Instagram to the Obama's Instagram page or whatever, right? And the Obamas posted the same video, and I'm like, okay. I looked through the comments, and everyone's like, oh, it's so nice to see some adults getting along. Like literally all the comments are like, until I found one comment that was like, are we just gonna pretend like this is real? Like, are you serious? Like, come on. Like, are you all this dumb? There's no way that you're all this dumb that you can't tell this is fake. There's no way. And then like I look at all the replies to that, and everyone's like, yeah, we know this is fake. Come on. Like
The other ones could be idiots and bots.
yes.
It's like a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like she's
So
going
first of
through-
all, where is she at?
right. She's like looking like she's at the
Keep going.
She looks like she's at some sort of convention.
Now
or
she's
whatever.
Now
Now
I guess
she's at a
that could be like the same place, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe she like walked off the stage into a back area.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
And then keep going. Just keep it playing.
And then
She's there, but then other part of the conversation now she's over here in front of this car. Maybe they just moved the camera.
They have different camera angles. You know,
Okay, so it could just all be like one place.
Yeah, it could all be one place. Like she just got off stage. She's heading to her car. She's in the emergency exit area, and you know, we're listening to her private conversation with the Obamas on speakerphone, and she says,
"Holy shit, dude!
What?
Oh wow. Okay, check this out.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, go back to the beginning real quick. Go back to the
Oh
beginning.
no. Oh. Back to the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
Just
wait.
keep it playing. Like you can skip, you can reverse it, rewind it, right? There's
Hang on.
a
Hang on. Hang on. I hit the wrong screen share. There
it
you
doesn't
go.
have to be the sound. Just get past the Doug Ducey guy or whoever that guy is. I don't know who that is. Doug. Oh, Doug's her husband, I guess, right?
Oh, it doesn't let me.
Okay, well, it's fine. Just
What
let
the
it go.
hell?
Just
What
let it
the
go.
hell
I
is this?
know. What's the point of that thing exactly?
Come on. Why do you have
What is the
this?
purpose of this? It's like so you keep engaging with it. Okay, so you got this idiot is
Yeah.
like, I get paid to lie. I am lying to you right now. I get a lot of money for that. Okay,
Okay.
look, it
Uh,
looks like a shot from Veep. The
oh.
way it's being filmed, just keep it going. Don't stop it. It looks like a shot from a TV show. Now
Yes.
watch this thing that pops up. That's like that looks to me like I don't know why this comes to mind. Larry David, Curb Your
Yeah.
Enthusiasm,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what they call that, like a screen or something,
Uh-huh.
like it. I mean, I know obviously someone's producing the video,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Like
it's
da da
being
da da
produced
da
like it looks
da.
like a
Yeah.
reality, like
Like
one of those fake reality shows,
yes.
like The
Oh.
Office or like Veep or like
Oh.
Parks and Rec.
Yes. Yes. I see it.
And the
Oh.
reason I'm bringing it up is because in Veep, I mean,
Yes.
she's Veep, dude. She is
Yes.
Veep. She's
Yes.
like
Yes.
this airhead idiot, just conniving, just political, no fucking substance, doesn't give a shit, doesn't even get along with the president. You know, they don't fucking see eye to eye. They're just
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
And her team's around her trying to get her to go because they want to go with her.
Yeah.
And then in that show, the president doesn't go for re-election. And
Yes.
then I think she runs. I don't think she becomes president. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't see the whole thing.
Yeah.
But regardless,
Yeah.
so it's like they're doing a reverse Zelensky.
Wow.
Because Zelensky, he played a character who became president.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were, and now he became president. In this
Right.
one, they've already had that show.
Yeah.
And now they're like reverse making it seem like she's living out that show.
Right.
It's
Yes.
fucking weird, dude. And it's like, it just shows how mind controlled everybody is. Because, yeah, we'll see it, but it doesn't really matter if we see it because there's enough fucking retards that are just watching the show like, oh, wow, this is interesting. Look what's happening. Wow, this is cool. Like, look at her Converses. Whoa, those are so nice. Wow, she likes Porgy and Bess. That's great. She has good taste in music. You see that fucking, did I send you that one? Where she comes out
No.
of the record store? Like,
No.
you're like, Madam Vice President, what records did you get? And she's like, oh, she's finding out in the same moment they are what records she got, I'm sure. Like, oh, Porgy and Bess. Wow, yeah, the classic. Oh, and I don't even fucking know all these records. It's like let me put it this way. All the black people are like, wow, she likes our music. Like
Dude.
the classics.
Dude,
It's
okay.
all fucking contrived.
You know what's so interesting about that is I was watching a conversation years ago, and it was like these two black scholars, I guess, I don't know, but they were talking about like racism, and they were talking from the perspective of like, we actually do a lot within our culture, within Black culture. There's a lot that goes on of just accepting these things that don't have to be so. And then we blame it on the system or racism, et cetera, right? And they were having this conversation. It was a really good conversation. But then one of the commentators is like, so, the way that we raise our children, our daughter, et cetera, we're doing things really differently. We explain things to her, all this. But then he's like, we do keep the music. We got to have the music. She's got to be into good music. Like, got to have that. Like, and I remember watching that and feeling like, yeah, that's gonna be hard to like not listen to like good music. Like what like the music that I was raised with. I remember thinking at that time like that would be hard to not listen to that music or share that music with my children because like I want them to also have good taste in music, and really enjoy like what I perceive as good music. And um and I can see that that is like a huge point within like especially Black culture. Like Especially
Apparently, it's a huge point in Indian culture.
really.
Well, I mean, because Kamala's Indian.
That was good. That was
I'm just
good.
saying.
You're right. You're right. She is. If you didn't know Kamala or Kamala, what are we calling her? Kamala? Kamala?
I
feel
always
like
say Kamala, but I think it's Kamala. I don't know.
I
Dude.
think she pronounces her name
I should be. I think it's pronounced Kali.
Kali.
Yes.
Kali?
Isn't that like the goddess of destruction in Indian, like Hinduism? Or
Oh,
something?
oh, like a Kali-yukas. Like that? No? Okay, never
But you
mind.
know, Kali. Hold on,
Kali Ma.
Kali,
Kalli.
Hindu goddess assigned. Yeah, here it is. Here, I'll share.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, she's stepping on the white man.
Oh. But this white man has a very big snake. That's
Mm-hmm. Oh, she killed a black dude too, though. Look,
Oh, okay. All right.
it's
All
this
right.
crazy fucking woman killing white people and black people. It's the Indians, dude, taking over.
Mm.
Tis the divine mother. She
Wow.
destroys evil to avoid to defend the innocent, like all the innocent trans.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
she's a consort of Shiva. She has to be a prostitute, of course.
That's funny. Okay. So anyway, I was showing that video to give context.
Isn't what the other guy,
What other guy?
the Indian guy?
Shiva?
Not Shiva, the other one. The one that likes Trump.
Vivek.
Thank you. A lot of Indians.
A lot of Indians in American politics these days.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
What percentage of the population are the Indians? Curious.
There's a billion of them.
Well, I mean, in America.
Did you see that video I sent of that billionaire wedding? Oh, let's play that.
Dude, okay, yeah,
We can
yeah.
do it later. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
this one. I'll read it. I'll read it for those who are listening. Anyone else just exhausted? The mainstream media started being objective and telling the truth for a couple of weeks there. But over the last week, they have regained form and cranked up their propaganda to a new level. Let's pause right here just for a moment.
First of all, you are an idiot.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I was reading this and I was like, well,
This should be a reason to never listen to this person ever again.
Yes. They continue. It's an unprecedented disinformation campaign to rapidly prop up Kamala. Kali. They are faking polls, rewriting history, gaslighting relentlessly, and outright lying to our faces. It's an endless barrage. No matter how many times we catch them in a lie, they just double down, continue to lie, and their brainwashed sheep willfully fall right in line. I just long for the day when I'm no longer under constant psychological attack from my own government, and I fear that day may never come. Now, I'm reading this because I know that I'm sure there are tons of other people that actually feel this way.
Yeah, I mean, the sentiment, I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, I have an idea. Let's change the system.
Oh.
Well, not that. I mean, then what will I have to complain about?
Oh, me. Yeah. I mean,
they didn't start becoming objective.
No, clearly not.
Why did they let him go on the debate stage?
Who, Biden? Oh.
Yeah. Like, isn't it obvious? Like, it wasn't all this obviously like constructed.
Yeah, it was definitely contrived. Definitely contrived. Someone took a photo of Trump's ear. Now that it's out of a bandage, it looks fine. And now conspiracy theories are going again. I'm like, well, what happened? Where's the piece of his ear that's missing? It's an interesting question. I wonder what they're gonna do with that. But yeah, I was bringing that up because it's like, okay, if you think that the mainstream media was becoming objective, or even if you don't, and you're like, if you just watch that video that we just shared of Kamala Harris, like clearly acting out a role, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are working together with me. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, dude.
Did you see the one where it was Biden called in while she was giving some speech or presentation?
Women are really good at that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like you're at a party and they're smiling at everybody. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, just read the first chapter of what is it called? War and Peace.
oh,
Right? You read that first chapter and it's like this party, and it's like the person who's like entertaining everybody, and it's kind of that whole dynamic. But yeah, it's like it's like you're just putting on a fake. Oh, dude. Okay, real quick. Can you put that quote?
the same one.
You know the one I sent you? I actually copied it from a post Owen made. I just sent you this morning.
Oh yeah. I can pull it up.
Find a way to screenshot it.
I forgive myself, that one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna just figure out a way to. You know
Here,
what?
I'll do it.
Yeah,
do it.
you do it.
I just screenshot that little part that I want. It's not
that complicated.
It's
And then
not
you do
that
it.
hard.
Then you do it. So easy.
Where'd it go?
Yeah.
I like this disappeared. Normally it stays down and down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not that complicated.
Oh, I think Max changed my settings so it doesn't. You don't have to save it; it just automatically saves. Okay. He likes to take screenshots of stuff that he's working on. Yeah. Now I got to get back to my goddamn Zoom. There we go. Okay. You know how like when you click off of it and then you click Zoom, but it just gives you like your login screen, not the actual Zoom screen that you're on the meeting. You're like, okay.
Oh, there we go.
I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize that all accepted systems on earth only support the self-projected image of the mind as reality, without understanding that these images are stored as physical memory in the body to be called up by symbols in the environment specifically planned to keep the human in the hypnotized state of total self-control as the best slave ever created. So it's like a perfect example of this is it's just like I was pointing out with the Kamala thing, right? Where it's like you've got these it's a system. You've got these memories inside of you from watching the shows, from all these different points, and then it's just like when you see that symbol, it's like pulling up that information that's stored in you as a memory, and then you're just going along with whatever the purpose of that memory was. So it's like it's kind of like how a computer works. Like in your hard drive is stored information, but on your screen you see a picture of like a folder or a file. That's not the actual information. That's just a symbol. So when you access that symbol, it pulls up that information. And then if it's a program that's executed, it starts running that program. And that's what's going on. So like the whole system is designed in a way where you have these memories throughout your life, through events and so forth. Like 9/11 is a perfect example where you saw that event that was imprinted into your memory. And then later it can be called up. Like even think about the way that it was framed. It was a Pearl Harbor. Well, that only the only reason that would be said is because that was also a memory that was put into you previously that has a certain emotional content, and they're calling that up. So like the Olympics, for example, is calling up a couple things, like one, patriotism, but at the same time unity. Because look, we can all get together. Look, even when Hitler's holocausting everybody, we can still come together and have a great sportsman-like conduct. You know, like what? It's kind of like when Trump got a little boo-boo on his ear, right? When he got his little boo-boo. And then like, you know, remember when Hitler almost got assassinated a couple weeks ago? And then like Biden and everybody was like, well, that's not good sportsmanship. Okay.
No, yeah.
Like, really, you know what I mean? Like, hey, there's no place for this, right? Like,
Right.
okay,
But
yeah.
you're literally calling him Hitler. Like
There's no place for it. But if you could, would you assassinate like Kim Jong Il or something?
right, like
You know, like
you're calling him the scourge of the earth.
you're saying it's a threat to our democracy.
Right. But don't assassinate him. But okay, just looking at that point, because BLM was saying BLM of all the I don't even know propaganda out there. BLM was questioning like, whoa, can we pump the brakes on Kamala as our representative for the Democratic party or the Democrat
The
Party?
nominee.
Yeah, the nominee, because I don't remember electing for. I didn't vote for her. I'm not the one who's saying, yeah, I want Kamala. Like this is a takeover. This isn't democratic. This isn't democracy. And like, man, it was so interesting to see that, because I was looking through the comments of that, and they were getting a lot of hate from their followers of like, just shut up, just shut up. Like, just be happy. Like, you should be happy we have a black woman running for president. Like, listen, I'm happy and all, but not at the expense of democracy. Like, we're the ones saying, oh, this is a threat to our democracy, and we're not even keeping up democracy ourselves. So what the fuck is that about? You know?
I'm trying to find RFK talking about here we go. Let me play this one. I haven't seen this, but I think this is probably gonna.
While you play that, I'll be right back. Hang on.
What do you, as we head into primary season, what do you make of the DNC calendar?
Well, I think, it's pretty clear that the DNC does not want primary. I don't want to say that they want a coronation, but that's, I think that that's a fair way to put it, actually. They're doing, they're essentially, they're fixing the process so that it makes it almost impossible to have democracy function. They're effectively disenfranchising the Democratic voters from having any choice in who becomes president or who becomes the Democratic nominee. So two of the things they've done to date is they've moved the Iowa primary. They've made rules that if anybody campaigns in Iowa or any candidate sets foot in the state of Iowa or sets foot in the state of New Hampshire, then none of the votes that are cast for that candidate will be tallied. In other words, any delegate that I win in New Hampshire or Iowa would go instead to the president. And now they're trying to change it so that if I campaign in New Hampshire, that none of the votes cast for me in Georgia will count. And that's significant because it's hard to win the nomination without Georgia.
What is the logic?
Well, they're rigging it so that it, effectively, we're looking at the tabulations now that look like if you add up all the super delegates that they control and all of the automatic delegates that just go to the party and go to the president, I would have to win almost 80% of all of the states in order to beat President Biden, even if he only wins 20%.
And yet you continue on. So what is your strategy then in light of this?
Okay, so I just wanted to share that. When was that from?
That had to be
before
Biden dropped out.
That says 10 months ago.
Okay.
So I just want everybody to see, he was talking about this before, that it was all rigged. This is why he ran as an independent.
Yeah.
Because there was no way, even he'd have to get 80%. Like, so in other words, if he got 75%, he would still not become the nominee.
Mhm.
So it was like rigged in favor of Biden.
Yeah.
Now, I can kind of understand that to the degree that it's like, well, we just go with our incumbent if we have an incumbent.
Yeah.
That's still not democratic, but you kind of think of it. I mean, because what if the guy does a terrible job
Right.
and then nobody wants him anymore? It's like, too bad. But I think it's more like, well, anyways, it was rigged to get him in there in the first place. So of course they're going to keep him in, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I kind of understand the sentiment of, hey, why would we admit that our guy sucks and then expect people to vote for our party again?
Yeah.
I get that from a image perspective. But now what's happened is Biden drops out. And what your point about Black Lives Matter, can you pull that one up? Can you find that X?
Yeah.
That X tweet? The X tweet?
The Twex?
The Twex?
Oh,
yeah. Just call it X-A tweet. That's what.
What? That's
what Elon would call it. An XWEET.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I got you.
A tweet.
A tweet. A sweet. A little sweet.
It's no. Put an exclamation mark. Like wheat.
Wait. Okay. No, that's not it. Here we go. Nope. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. Nick Fuentes talking about Trump cabinet. You can always rely on Nick Fuentes too.
Yeah, he's a Catholic, so he's obviously smart.
Is that it? Is that you just got to be Catholic? That's it?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're Catholic, you're real smart.
That's why he and Candace Owens are both.
And what's his face? Russell Brand.
Oh, he's also Catholic. I didn't realize.
Well, he's praying the rosary every day, apparently.
Yeah, that's pretty Catholic. Well,
I mean, Russell Brand was kind of like, wait, you saying I can play with more beads? I can put more beads on? I can have more beads? All right, count me in.
That's it. That's what he's looking for. Okay. I think I'm scrolling up so high that my when the scroll just like jumps on you. I don't know where it went. I scrolled all the way up to that Peter Thiel thing. Did we play that? Did we talk about that? The Peter Thiel on Israel? What are you saying about that?
All right, here we go.
Oh, wow.
This isn't the exact one, I think, but
no, that is the one.
Okay. Sunday, Joe Biden drops out. Kamala Harris announces campaign with Biden endorsement, says she's going to work hard to earn the nomination, makes calls to party delegates. Monday, Kamala continues to call party delegates, makes 2 public speeches. AP announces she's secured enough delegates to be the nominee. Harris releases a statement. Noting she has worked hard to go out and earn this nomination. 24-hour process of talking to party bosses is not democratic, nor is it a process Democrats should be proud of. We do not live in a dictatorship. Newsflash, Trump wasn't the dictator, you fucking morons. Delegates are not oligarchs. Newsflash.
They are.
What is wrong with your braids? Installing Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. Where were you when Biden won? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. And an unknown vice president without any public voting process. Yeah, it's true.
We call on them to create a process that allows for participation. It's like, well, I don't want to make it racial, but it's like you have to be a certain kind of person to think that it's democratic just because it's called the Democrat Party.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and by special kind of person, and when I said racial, I mean like racially as in genetic, as in too many chromosomes. Like, I'm saying they have Down syndrome.
That's a race?
Racial, genetic.
I think you're not using that word.
What if people with Down syndrome was actually like a race? Like Tolkien.
Remember when we were
like what if the whole thing with Tolkien was like they're races, like they're just like genetic mutations, like, oh, like you had a dwarf and then that just became like a race because also the dwarves they're certain heights, so they can't really meet with tall
Oh,
people.
you had
So
a hobbit. Yeah.
yeah. That's how that. What if we just allowed like a race of Down syndrome people?
Dude.
And they had their own country and shit.
Dude, are you of the cruciform?
Hey, don't spoil Hyperion for
I'm
you.
just saying. I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
What if
Um,
we just gave them their own country and gave them their own religion and stuff, and they became like the Down syndrome like race?
yeah,
That
yeah,
would be
yeah.
really interesting.
Dude, do you remember there was a Star Trek episode about that? I don't know if you remember that.
I really don't watch a lot of Star Trek.
Me neither. I never watched Star Trek, but I remember there was an
So
episode
it's just
of
like a shot in the dark. Like, hey, maybe you saw this one episode that I saw.
maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Just
I probably watched a bit of Next Generation when I was a kid, but I don't remember any of it.
listen. We were endorsed by William Shatner. It's like, I expect you to go and
Oh, I've seen all the
rewatch
movies. I've seen all the movies.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Not all of them recently, but like all the William Shatner ones. Like my grandparents were into it.
Yeah. Those are the important ones. That's it. That's all that matters. No, where were we going with this? With this whole oh, the Black Lives Matter thing. Okay, yeah. Let's bring that up because hello, newsflash, like you're saying, all of this it's WWE. It is all the WWE. It is all like, all right, and now we gotta bring in some more bad guys and more conflict and like more craziness so that at the end of this we flip it and you're like, yeah, and you're just like, it's become really obvious, I would say, just the extent to which our media is for entertainment. Oh, this is the part that I was going to bring up because you had mentioned this part of this of people are just watching like it's reality TV, right? And they're like, oh, that's interesting. But I remember listening to some past wrestler, who was actually in the WWE, and he said something along the lines of the whole point of the whole fight really is to get the audience to connect with the hero who's supposed to be the hero of the fight, right? You get the audience to connect with that person. And that doesn't just happen just because he's a clean fighter or he's, handsome or whatever. It's like you do all these things where it makes it like, oh, look, that guy's cheating. That other guy's cheating. Oh, come on. And like you stack the cards against him where it's almost like you're like, I really want my guy to win. Like I really just want to punch that guy in the face because like fuck that other guy.
This is maybe why. Well, anyway, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
But like the whole psychology behind it, right, is like, so when you watch reality,
it's the same formula every time. It's not like so it works. They know how to get and like you said, how much was Vince McMahon worth?
$2.9 billion.
So they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. And I'm like, I've never seen Vince McMahon in a movie. I've never, and like, okay, when you think of wrestling,
but he was kind of the bad guy in WWE.
He was the bad guy, but when you think of wrestling, you think of like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, like those are or the Hulk Hogan, like these are the names that come to mind. But like you look up their net worths, like it's peanuts compared to Vince McMahon, who admittedly he was the CEO of, but there was a reason why he was the CEO of WWE. And like he played the bad guy, and like you thought, like I don't know about you, but when I watched as a kid, I hated that guy. I was like, I fucking hate this guy. Yeah. Like he was the villain to me. Like I was like, why does he always have to be like putting his hands in and messing things up? Like he just ruins it for me. I hate this guy. I want to see somebody like punch this guy in the face. And every once in a while he would get like, put in the ring and have his arm in a cast or something like that. But the point being, they're just taking that same model. Because how many people watch reality TV and think it's real? That's scripted, right? Like you should know that's scripted.
So there's a CEO who's running the business of WWE.
Yeah.
but he's also put himself as a character in it.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
Wait. Can I, can, can I just finish this point and then we can go there? We can go there.
And he becomes the richest person in the whole picture. Okay, sorry.
Yes. Okay, all right. I see. I'm connected. Okay. What I was gonna say was basically I'm losing it. I'm missing it. Okay, wait. Reality TV, people think it's actually real, right? They don't realize that it's scripted, but also the fuck it. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. Just go with your point. I forgot what I was trying to say.
It's like a meta reality show.
Oh. It's suspending people's disbelief just long enough so that they can connect with the character. That you can connect with the character in the reality TV show, whatever it is. And so what we're seeing is like, okay, if you watched Veep or The Office or whatever other reality TV show style show, then you may watch that and be like, yeah, but I know those are characters on TV. But then if you see the actual vice president playing that role, your belief is suspended, your disbelief rather is suspended long enough that you're like, but that is the actual vice president. This must be real. You know?
It's
That's
like, so Vince McMahon, so he was the actual CEO,
Mhm.
but he also was a character in it.
Yeah.
So in other words, the person who is in it and playing into the drama, where the fake aspect of it is also on the outside of it and making the decisions to make that fake drama to generate money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you look at the world system, let's just call it the elite, whoever that is, could they be? And obviously, if you look at WD, was every person who works in the corporate in the show? Like the accountants weren't in the show.
No,
like
yeah, right.
the secretaries, the guy who delivers the catering, whatever, they're not in the show, but they're still supporting it. So you have the elite who are using how is the news different? Like the WWE appears on the same platform as the news.
Yeah.
So the news is a show that's being used to make you watch events in the world. And so the events in the world are being put together as a show to keep you entertained, to keep you distracted, to keep you focused on the hero, blah, 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 all that. Like the same thing you were talking about. So but the real villain, the actual villain, which is the Vince McMahon character, it doesn't matter. Like, does The Rock win? Does The Undertaker win? Whoever. It's like the real winner is the CEO.
Right.
He's becoming the billionaire. He's kind of in the show, but he's also outside of it.
Yeah.
And directing it from keeping the show going, making sure the show plays the same format.
Yeah.
Like The Rock doesn't decide to be the hero. He's told, here's the role you're going to play. But he's not told the role you're going to play by Vince McMahon in the show.
Right.
Because in the show, Vince McMahon, the show version, is playing into the fact that it's a real fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might be aware in the show that there's some trickery going on and stuff, but he's still like, it's a real fight for a real title. But the real version of Vince McMahon knows it's fake and is saying, no, you're going to lose this time, The Rock. You're going to lose. You're going to win this time. You're going to they're directing that from that perspective. So he's in two places, in two dimensions.
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at Christianity or any other religion, right?
Yeah.
You've got what you think is God in the whole thing, but he's also on the outside directing the whole thing so he can stay in power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like when you study destiny, it explains that at a certain point, the plan was for Anu to come back and become like the fucking antichrist, like whatever you call it, like leader of the world, one world government forever and ever and ever and ever, forever. Which is actually what all the Christians are wanting. They don't think of it as the Antichrist, but don't they want the king to return and rule forever?
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting.
That is what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, where did their beliefs come from?
Yeah. That's a great.
From an actual fucking alien overlord that created the reality you're in right now. But it's like, imagine Vince McMahon dies or something.
Yeah.
The show's still going to go on.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, even if he's gone.
Right.
So people, but then imagine the wrestlers not realizing, like, oh, wait, we could literally do something else now. They're like, no, like, we got to keep fighting for the title. And they're like, dude, this is a show.
Right.
That someone else created, and we don't have to do it anymore. You know what I mean? And like, oh, what? So the Christians are actually stuck in this mind loop of thinking that the story that they're believing in and living out is reality, when it's actually a show they're participating. And so it's not just the Christians, it's everybody.
Yeah. Could you say that point that you said about the Olympics, how like when like Elon had tweeted something of like Alexandria, no, he tweeted something that was basically like, oh, they're making a mockery of Christianity.
People were bringing that up, and he was like, yeah, Christianity has become toothless because let's just look at some of that, dude. I'm going to give you a warning for anybody who has kids. Hide your kids.
Yeah, don't let them watch this. Not this part.
This is not a good part to watch.
This is definitely. If your kids are watching this, no.
I'm just going to do this in real time rather than figure it out. Olympics. Sarah. Did I spell it right? Ceremony. Oh, I hit the one.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to find. Oh, here we go. What are we saying?
I don't know.
This is very gay.
Yeah.
Like, just gay, like so dumb, like so stupid, like.
I don't know. What am I watching?
The fuck? There's no amount of weed or acid on the earth.
I'm so confused by this.
Okay, it's just this weird blue dude with some fruit, with some trannies and stuff in the background, right? That's it. Or not trannies, what do you call them? Drag queens?
Drag queens. He wasn't even.
Well, that's some trippy shit.
Using the microphone this whole time.
It would be a mistake to watch this on any kind of hallucinogenics. It would fuck your life completely.
You would lose yourself. What is happening?
Okay.
Welcome
and
to
then
the Olympics.
the thing everybody's talking about. Let's see if this goes into it. Yeah, because they didn't show this part in what we saw.
No.
This must have been they must have gone back to it.
I guess so. Like, or maybe it was like a commercial spot, like a little.
Okay, look.
Second.
Okay, look at this guy here.
Yeah.
The white, and then this guy here.
Yeah.
And then this guy here, and this guy here. I mean, like, so in case anyone's like wondering, yeah, it's just coincidental. No, it's not.
No. It's obvious.
So that's that. And I was looking up the guy who was like the director for like the art director or who basically directed all of this and created it and everything. And they were like asking him ahead of the time, like, what are you going to do in it? And he's like, I'd get fired if I tell you. Probably more like if I spill the secrets, or like, because they're not supposed to reveal it. They want it to be a surprise, but probably also there's like a level of, look, if I fucking tell you ahead of time, I'll get fired. They're gonna let me do it. Think about it. Like they can't stop him in the middle of it. They just, that's not gonna happen. No, right. I mean, of course, they signed to sign off on it anyways, right? I would assume. But imagine, okay, think about this. Imagine anybody in the Olympic committee is like, hey, I don't think we should do all the trans focus. They would be like immediately fired.
Yeah.
Everybody else would be like, oh, what? How dare you?
Yeah.
Right. And everyone's like, yeah. How dare you be transphobic? And everyone's like, yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Especially in
France.
And
then the guy's like, oh shit, yeah, sorry guys, I was just joking. They were like, yeah, okay. So we're doing the trans? Why wouldn't we? Yeah, no, of course we would. Yeah. Like there would be no one to be like, no, why would we do that?
Right. It's it's so funny because we were talking about, like, on a previous podcast, we talked about how France is now going through their whole like they're going through their trans phase, their transition, where like, and that was so interesting because there's that girl who's getting all that backlash, and then now all of a sudden, like, well, because she was speaking out about the trans stuff, she didn't.
Riley Gaines.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
I guess her name, whatever.
We're talking about that French girl.
The French girl.
Okay, yeah. It was another context, yeah.
Yeah, but she was basically saying like, "Oh, I stumbled upon this because I just realized like, oh, this doesn't make sense," and I just started speaking out against it. And then like, because France is going through their like, they're in the peak of their trans phase. They're like, "Wow, you can't say that. Come on." She's like, "This is coming for us, guys." And now here we're seeing it, like it is here in full force, in full effect. It's in full bloom. Yeah.
To the point where it's like the whole Olympics is about it. And I guess, and then they had like some other thing with like some, I don't know, dude. I'm just looking through it. I mean, it wasn't even just that. I'm trying to find, wait. No, it's not that one. There was one with like the bearded guy in the dress, like dancing.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, here it is.
Oh no. Hide your kids.
Hide your kids.
Hide your wife.
Before any of you guys start pulling your pants down and getting ready, just hold back for a second, okay?
I'm good. I'm so glad you said that. Keep going.
In the background.
I don't understand.
Okay, I just want everyone to understand. Okay, when I look at that, I'm not like, ew. Like, it's not that kind of a reaction. I'm not like, how do I explain it? It's like, I don't have a
aversion
to it, as in, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I'll speak from my
okay, like for example, when I think about gay people having sex, I'm not like, ew, gross. Like, I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying I don't have that kind of a disgust aversion to it. That's not why I'm pushing back against it. You see what I'm saying? It's not because of an aversion to it. It's just this doesn't make any fucking sense.
How often do you watch gay people having sex? You said when you do.
Enough to test. I gotta test out my reactions.
Yeah. All right,
I don't want to assume. To the point where if people joke about me being gay, I'm not reacting to it. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's not a reaction to it.
Right.
It's a, does this make sense to in the same sense that we were talking about, like that quote where it's like everything is forming memories. Like we have this memory of Pearl Harbor. We have this memory of Disney World. So then we want to buy Disney stuff because we get the good feeling from it. The reason why you can't question Santa Claus is because you have a good feeling of it. That memory, that symbol of Santa represents that feeling inside of that memory. So when you think about not doing Santa, you don't get those feelings. And then you're just manipulated to stay in a fucking consumer, like, gotta buy the presents, gotta do the Santa, gotta do all that stuff. and just repeat the fucking cycle and never question anything. That's what it's all about. It's not about, oh, I don't like gay, I don't like trans. It's like, no, does this make sense to constantly? Why couldn't the Olympics be impulsing every child of, hey, while you're watching the Olympics, let's talk about the fucking importance of learning to read.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be more important?
Yeah. Yeah. But
and showing them a bunch of trans people. But if we show them all these trans people, they'll be accepting of people and they'll learn to work together and live in harmony. And I'm like, all I see it being used is to abuse everybody and to like raise your fucking taxes and like, you know what I mean? Like all this and accept wars.
Yeah.
The same thing, the same impulse that people that people are participating in that makes them want to protect trans people is the same impulse that's manipulated of why we should give money to fund the war in Ukraine. It's the same impulse.
Yeah.
It's like, look at this evil Putin guy, dictator, wants to oppress you, you know, like wants to be mean and bully all the poor, depressed people who would just want to express themselves. And I'm like, that guy on that stage wasn't just expressing himself. Like, he's like, I need to wear women's clothing and dance like a sexy woman with a beard. That's not expressing yourself. That's playing a character.
Yeah.
It's not expressing yourself.
Ooh, okay. That's a good point. Because like people think they are the character that they're playing.
But that's not who they are.
I'm aware of that.
Like who we are is the expression of what's best for all. So our expression should be not about the form of it. It should be like, are we supporting, expressing the need and how to create a world that's best for all?
Yeah.
But there's like, it's like that is sort of dumbed down and manipulated. And it's like, no, it's about letting trans people express themselves.
Because then it gives you permission to express yourself or continue playing your character. Here's a point that I wanted to bring in here.
Can trans people be in a world and express themselves, and we're all still oppressed by fucking AI that determines whether we get bank loans or not?
Yeah.
You see, like, that's the problem, is you're not considering the actual reality of things.
Yeah.
You're just like, I want this person to feel heard. But but when the AI system is in place, at a certain point, like if your trans expression challenges that, then your trans expression will no longer be valid.
Right.
So you will have to learn how to robotically fit your expression into the system. It will not be a true free expression of yourself. It won't be.
Yeah. Like going back to that quote of like, what's being brought up within you is because you don't really, if you actually look at your memories, you don't really have a perfect memory of events or perfect recall rather of events.
No.
But you do have like, you know, the feeling that you got from it. And that's like, and so you'll even remember events in a way that strengthens that feeling, really. And so like if something, let's say bad happened, like got into a fight with someone or whatever, and it made you feel like a victim or like terrible or whatever, you will and it's been a long while, you will recall that memory and attribute even worse traits to that person or worse things that happened. They said this, like you make it even worse than it actually was, because you want to convey to yourself and to others that feeling that you got. And if it was just like, well, this really benign thing that happened, but you had that feeling, you would not feel justified in continuing to feel that way. And so you will recall it in a way that you can feel that justification of, and this is how I felt, this is how terrible it was, you know? And I think that's really significant in regards to just like the characters that people play, the way that people actually interact. You're actually putting your feelings first and putting that as like the driver for everything that you're doing, and it's creating hell. It is creating hell. And we have a society that's like, oh, well, you're not considering their feelings. It's like, but your feelings are not considering life. Your feelings are just, your feelings are for what? For what? Just so you can have like this energetic experience within you? at the expense of everything else, at the expense of life. It's fake and gay. It's fake and gay. Your feelings are fake and gay. Said it.
How no, well, I was gonna, it's just like a pointless point to go into. I'm just looking at this idea that like the Christians are so oppressed, and I'm like, there used to be a holy fucking Roman Empire.
Yeah.
How did that just stop being the power?
Yeah.
Like it how did everybody being a part of that then become everyone not being a part of it? Like, you know what it's like, dude? You know what it is? Christianity. This idea that, because Candace said, like, if you want to study history, study like the history of Catholicism.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's trying to kind of claim that, like, actually it's the Christians that are the real deal and we're so persecuted. It's like, hold on. Weren't you against Black Lives Matter? Because the whole point was that it's manipulating Black people to feel like they're the victims and white people are the oppressors.
Yeah.
But you're participating in the same pattern as a Christian, acting like the world is oppressing you, acting like Satan is oppressing you, the Jews, the whoever, the anti-Christians are oppressing you. And it's like, you're literally Black Lives Matter. You're literally doing the same thing. And you're not going to change the systems. I'm like, because the whole idea is like, no, we've never not actually been in power. Women, are they actually oppressed by men, or have they been in power this whole time behind the men?
Yeah.
So who have been in power this whole fucking time? It's been the Christians.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they literally took over the Roman Empire. But then now to claim like suddenly, well, it was because of the Enlightenment and people got away from God. I'm like, how did you allow that to happen?
Right.
You clearly weren't doing a very good job. It's like, but it goes back, like, they're so dumb because they read the Bible and they believe the story of the Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, God told them not to eat from the fruit. Why didn't he explain why not?
Right.
Well, they just couldn't have understood. So he made them retarded. Couldn't he have created them and made them super fucking smart?
Right.
So smart, they would also be so smart to understand why not to go against the laws of God, nature, whatever you want to call it. Why couldn't he have made them that smart? Were they just totally fucking naive? Then how can you claim God made them good? You're saying good means naive. Good means you could choose evil. That's what good means. But isn't the whole point of you need to learn to choose God now? So is there anything else you wanted to add? I wanted to go into this other point. I don't want to do it if you're...
No, there was another point, but it's kind of not really related. It's like this point of because Tucker Carlson, I saw a clip of him talking about religion, and he was like, there's a lot of religions out there or whatever. I think I've chosen the right one, and he was talking about Christianity. But he's like, but also I started studying other things. No, he didn't. He's not studying Destiny. Otherwise, he'd
see. Here's the problem. I don't think I've chosen the right one. I know.
But here's what he was saying.
I know.
He was like, I stopped studying this other stuff because it was getting too much for me. And he was saying, why is it the case that in every culture around the world, they have some story of a supernatural being coming into a human body? He's like, that should tell you, like, every single one has that. He's like, so I'm just going to stop there. I don't want to explore more into that. I'm like, why would you stop there?
Wait, stop there. What, meaning what?
As I think what he was implying was it was getting like having him question himself or his religion like too much, that he didn't
realizing the common pattern,
realizing that everything, that there are supernatural beings that come into human bodies. I think what he was implying was like, because you've seen the other interviews of him saying there are supernatural forces like acting on us here or whatever. But what I got out of that was like, well, yeah, there are supernatural beings that come into human bodies. Like, we're beings. That, hello, you, me, everybody, hello. Like, what do you think there's just like only like these other beings that come into human bodies and they're gods, but not you? You're
because they believe God
than.
created you as a fucking human animal. He created you as a robot that's just a human body.
Okay, but
with a soul in it.
But literally,
whatever that means.
Literally, the story is God breathed life into man, right? Okay, so that means within us, the only way that we can operate, according to this story, just going by the story that you have written in your book, it says that we are operating because we have the breath of God in us. So without that, so you have God within you. So
At
without
some
that, you
level,
can't
there's
operate.
some supernaturalness in you.
Right.
At some level, however you want to
Exactly.
look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, I was just considering that, and then I wanted you to bring up that thing with the priest.
Yeah. I was gonna get there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, take your time. Go
But it's cool though, the point you're bringing with Tucker, because it's like you could go further. You could go into Billy Carson,
Oh yeah.
right? Because he's like, oh, there was literal supernatural beings. Maybe he just thinks of them as aliens. I'm not quite sure, but they came here and somehow did some things to the beings that were here and then made them into humans and stuff like that. So there's, even so to Tucker's point, every religion has this supernatural coming into human body. Let's expand further and not just talk about religions. Mm-hmm. Every civilization has some myths about human beings being created by something above them. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily supernatural. It could be an alien.
Right. Yeah.
Something from outside of this world anyways. Yeah. That's coming and somehow, you look into Gnosticism, right? And you look into all these other points and it's like, I mean, there's some crazy stories of like, you look into I think it's Gnosticism. And there's this, it's like these beings that lived out in the spiral arm of the galaxy or something, or in the center of the galaxy. And they had these long, almost like pipettes. Remember those pipettes, Yeah. And they stick it out way out into like the spiral arm and they like seed these planets. I mean, it's like described, right? It's crazy, right? And then, something happened and one of them came to the earth. And then, if you want to expand your mind to be like, oh, these are all stories, right? I don't know if I asked you this. Have you ever seen Neon Genesis?
No.
Evangelion? It's like an anime.
No, I haven't seen that one. I know what you're talking about though. I know.
Dude, watch it. This will be it's really good.
How many episodes are there? Do you know?
I don't even know if you need to watch all the episodes. I think you just need to watch the movies. I don't know. I don't know if you watch. The thing is, even if you watch everything, it's not going to make sense.
That's what I've understood from.
So I don't. That's why probably it doesn't matter. If you sit there and you have to watch every fucking episode, it's going to take forever. But you just go watch the end of Evangelion movies because they explain everything in them anyways, right? Okay. And there's a bunch of different ones. Or even if you just go watch somebody summarizing the whole thing.
I have seen that.
Okay, so you don't have to watch it. Is my point, right? I happened to watch it when I was in college, the whole thing, right? But it's like this whole thing of like these seeds that come and seed a planet, and then there's like a being there, and then what happened was there's two different types of beings that can seed a planet, but then on the Earth, it got two of them, the different types, which was a mistake, and that created this whole problem, and then they have to like this whole mythological spiritual thing, and they're actually like basically explaining Gnostic Christianity. It's kind of interesting shit. Maybe not Gnostic Christianity, but Gnosticism.
Yeah.
But then you realize like, oh, that's not just some anime story. That's like a belief set that some civilization actually had, just put it into a story form and probably embellished here and altered and adapted and stuff. And I'm like, it's not just a cool anime story that this guy made up.
Yeah.
It's an adaptation of some group or civilization's actual beliefs of how things are.
Yeah.
Right. In a way.
Yeah.
That's how all these stories are. And why can't Christians see that?
Well,
and
because
it's like Bernard said, I was listening to this one, Equal Through Substance, and he was like talking about how the money system, he's talking about gold. People say like, we should get on gold. And he's like, but that's just a fiction too. Like,
yeah.
You believe the gold has value. It doesn't actually have that value. So how is it different than fiat currency? It's just a belief.
Different than like Wall Street speculation.
It's just a belief.
Yeah.
And he's like, and if we can just believe ourselves, if we could just believe in something and that gives it power and value, why can't we just believe in an equal money system then?
Yeah.
It's like, if you can believe in Christianity and it is just a belief, why can't you just believe in the point of destiny? Like,
because I mean,
just believe in that, and like it makes more sense. The outcome of it is actually one that everyone would like.
right, yeah.
What's the outcome of Christianity? It's just Armageddon. It's the only fucking answer, because you're saying, for this to be true, there has to be this ultimate fight at the end, and like and people have to die, and like we have to. It's just like, why do you want that to be the case? Don't believe it is the case. Imagine that it's only the case if you want it to be the case.
Oh.
And so why would you want it to be the case? I heard this really cool statement. Somebody said, maybe it was in the Tucker Carlson thing, actually, with Cernovich.
Uh-huh.
I think it was him. And I feel like I've said something similar to this, but the way he articulated it was so good. He said, the purpose of the system is what it does. The purpose of a system is what it does.
Its function, yeah.
So the purpose of Christianity is what it's doing in the world, actually.
Yeah.
You know, like people say, like they see that with the trans stuff. It's not really about what they say. The purpose of it is to disrupt things and to fuck with civilization and do all that. Yes. The purpose of it is what it's actually doing.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting to consider it from that perspective of like, okay, so you can see it when these new sprouts crop up where you're like, oh yeah, that thing, I know what it said its purpose is, but what it's actually doing is this. And you can see it about that, because it doesn't really, it's just because it doesn't resonate with you. And the only reason that your thing resonates with you is because of the way that you were raised, the way that you've been indoctrinated, the way that, like, the symbols that are within you, the symbols meaning, like, okay, when somebody says Christianity, you're like, I identify, like when somebody says American, I identify with that. I'm a patriot. I'm, patriotic, like, and all these memories and ideas and feelings come up within you, and you're like, yeah. And you watch your team, you watch the Olympics, you watch the World Cup, and you're like, yeah, America. Like, we're the best. And then and then when your team loses, you're like, we didn't like that sport anyway.
Fuck these Olympics are all trans bullshit anyways, right?
Right.
Dude, I saw somebody post and they were like, oh, such a beautiful opening ceremony and all this stuff on the Olympics. I'm like, did you miss part of it? Or so the thing is, I'm not watching it on TV, so I don't know if it's like, if that was the opening ceremony, if it was just a part they were doing. No. I don't know the actual.
Okay, yeah. So somebody else had said this, that they said because somebody had made some post on Facebook that was like, if you watch the opening ceremony and you thought it was nice, you liked it, unfollow me, don't buy from me, you're not my people, just go away. And then somebody else commented, like, I was in France watching the Olympics, watching the opening ceremony, I thought it was really great. And then when I went home, I turned on the television and I saw everything that everybody else is seeing, and I was like, what the fuck, where was that? Like, so
I feel like maybe, okay, like when I used to watch the World Cup, maybe the Olympics too, it's like in between stuff, they'll have some kind of a little show they put on to go between things, like almost like in the commercial break, to like remind you you're watching the Olympics. And maybe these are like those little things.
Maybe, and
maybe it's not the opening ceremony.
That's probably what it is. And this has just been blown out of proportion, because it's like maybe it was just.
Or you were watching that dude on the stage and you couldn't see the beard, so you're like, look at that beautiful lady.
Yeah, right.
You just couldn't tell because you were like in the crowd or something.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But I'm thinking it's just like those were little parts of the Olympics.
That's what I think. Yeah.
That because of the way that conservative media runs, it's just like that just got blown out of proportion, and everyone's like up in arms about that and ignoring the whole rest.
I haven't seen anyone explicitly say this is from the opening ceremony. They're saying Olympic ceremony,
Right.
But that being said, they handed the torch at one point to some trans person. Remember that part where like the trans dude with the tits and everything? And like, I mean,
yeah, I don't know what that was about.
It really is irrelevant, but the point is they're obviously promoting all of this with the Olympics.
And the other thing is, I was telling you yesterday about that book. The title of the book is A Billion Wicked Thoughts, right? But it's basically just looking at the point of how once you understand what society is actually thinking, you can promote stuff to them that they would ordinarily disagree with. But because you know, like internally, deep down, like, okay, like what's your search history? Let's look at your search history. Let's look at your porn history and all that. Like, oh, now if you know you're gonna speak out about the trans stuff and be all up in arms and upset or whatever. Okay, yeah, but show us your search history. Like, whoa, hey, I have nothing to say. It wasn't me. Didn't mean
It's
to.
like I see on YouTube sometimes these things promoted, and it's like these two hot blonde chicks like talking about the Bible, and it's called like Girls Gone Bible.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're exactly saying, but you just see the thing, right? And it's like,
Yeah. I get it.
why are they doing that? Because they know deep down these Christian guys want to see hot blonde chicks, and the association of Girls Gone Bible. You're still imagining them like fucking dudes
Right.
on a beach and stuff, and getting drunk and crazy and
Right.
stuff.
And,
Even though
pulling
they're
up
not
their,
doing that, but
yeah.
it's like accessing that memory.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
if you were really Christian and actually serious, you would not make that reference. You know,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So the point being, like, okay, I used to ask this question all the time, and I'm gonna start doing it again. But can you
why
imagine?
are you gay? Oh, go ahead.
You are gay.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay? Can you imagine though, if your thoughts, your every single thought was broadcasted and everyone could see your thoughts at all times and see your past thoughts as well? Like, how many people would elect to be like, yeah, I want that. Like, yeah, I want everybody to see my thoughts at all times. Like, you probably would be like, fuck no. Like, I know my thoughts. They would not be
Right.
acceptable. You know, I don't think my thoughts are acceptable, and yet I still have them, you know?
It's what we call the secret mind.
Exactly. And that is what allows for all this bullshit that we're seeing take place in our world. Because you're afraid to stand up to that, because then what if you get called out? Like, well, what do I actually want? I don't want I don't want to be exposed, is the general feeling of everyone. And also, since you don't want to be exposed, what does that mean? That means you want to maintain, because you're not changing, you're not eliminating those thoughts. So you want to maintain your personality, your characters, etc. And so if that person gets to have their character, then cool, I get to be safe within my secret.
But the
thought.
story you believe in
Mm-hmm.
has an apocalypse.
Yes.
And an apocalypse means
yes.
everything to be revealed.
Yes. Wow. That was great.
You're going to be revealed that Jesus ain't coming.
Yeah.
And what will be revealed to you is that what you were just describing about your thoughts being made visible is happening right now. What you will eventually have to face is that everything in the world is the manifestation of that secret mind.
Yeah.
That's what this fucking world is.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because people back in the day were like, oh, this world is some kind of illusion made by Satan. It is like, it's not that it isn't physically real, but what we believe is the context of our reality, and what we see is something being made by what's within us.
It's really great, an illusion made by Satan, because that's exactly what it is. It's an illusion that we're participating in, because we are basically the same way a play is an illusion. That's not real life, right? But it's also created by Satan, as in the adversary, your adversary to life, adversary to taking full responsibility, which is what we deep down at our core are, right? And so it's like, it is literally, yeah, this world is an illusion made by Satan. But if you're thinking like, you know, how the general people think, like, oh, it's an illusion. All right, well, then it's just a video game. It's just a game. Oh, I like, this doesn't matter.
So I'll just go back to work.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you really believe it doesn't matter? Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such bullshit. It's like, oh, I escaped the Matrix. I know it's all not real, but I got to go back to work now. I got to log into my Zoom, my remote work or some shit.
Right.
Like, okay, yeah, you really hacked the Matrix.
It's just people who don't like. What you're basically saying is, I give up. That's basically what you're saying. Like, I don't want to change it. I don't think I
you're
can.
like self loser.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Which is really like, that's sad. That's
So okay, let's jump into the other stuff because we'll run out of time if we don't.
okay. Okay.
Should we play some of that clip? Do you think that'd be useful? Because I feel like I could describe it, but we could just play it and then we can talk about it. It's not that long.
Dude, my live video got blocked on Facebook. It's crazy. All right, I'm just gonna
What?
keep going. I think it was probably because we played some of the Olympic stuff and that had music in it. And then, yeah.
Okay, but are we still recording? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still recording. I think it's allowing me to go live again, so we're okay.
Jesus. They just don't want you to see the trans stuff. See? Proves what we're saying.
Yeah.
No, they're like, no, you can play the trans stuff. Just can't play any of our copyrighted music. It's like, you're just making me want to use AI music.
Yeah. What were we going into? Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Do you have that video? Or I could pull it up. Let me find it.
The priest. The Lex Friedman priest.
Yeah. Do you have it? There it is.
No, you have it. Okay.
No, I don't have it yet. I have the thread. I just have it.
I have it.
Oh yeah, but go ahead.
Okay.
I got distracted by reading a message. Katie sent a video, and I was trying to decide if we want to share it or not.
Okay. All right. This one, right?
How long is it? 13?
It's
Can we
13
speed it up,
minutes.
maybe?
I can make it double speed. 1.5. There we go.
Yeah, let's just see how that goes.
Cites Bertrand Russell to the effect that proving the non-existence of God is a bit like proving the non-existence of a China teapot orbiting between Earth and Mars. And no, that's precisely what God is not. Some entity that's sort of hidden among the other entities of the universe.
A lot of times in the comments of this channel, I will either see that there is no evidence for God on one.
Why are they playing this music?
It's mysterious.
So look forward to that. Let's get into it.
And God is not an entity in the world. In fact, I would say that's the fundamental mistake that atheists old and new make all the time, is they think.
Okay, first assumption. We're studying geometry. Assumption number 1. God is not an entity in the world. Go. Okay.
Of God as a big being. When Aquinas says that God is not in any genus, even the genus of being, it's one of the strangest remarks in the whole tradition. It's really interesting. So you say, well, at the very least, God must be a being, right? And Aquinas' answer is no, he's not in the genus of being. So we talk about God being beyond being and so on. To say in God, essence and existence coincide is to say God's very nature is to be. And that can't be true of any contingent thing in the world. So what I'm doing there is I'm gesturing the way the tradition does toward God,
pause.
using.
So God cannot be in the hierarchy of beings. Therefore, he cannot be a higher power because it would be higher compared to a lower. But he's not in the genus of being. So he's not a being. So he's not a thing. So so when you say I believe in God because I believe there must be a higher power, you don't understand what the fuck you're talking about.
You don't understand your religion.
Like you're arguing with fucking Aquinas, dude. Like
they don't know who that
is. If you don't know who Aquinas is, you don't even know what the fuck you're believing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you didn't even. It's like trying to argue with Einstein about math, and you didn't even fucking go to school and learn math.
Or it's
and you
like
think you know what you're fucking talking about.
Argue about with George Washington about the Declaration of Independence.
You know? And you literally never read it.
Yeah.
You also never read it.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's interesting how he says it's like he's gesturing towards the tradition, like it almost makes it seem more informal, like it's
yeah, like we can't
tradition.
Precisely say it. I'm just kind of nudging and going towards it.
But it's
I
a
see what you're saying.
tradition, you know, versus like this.
Well, yeah, in the sense that, well, how do you know Aquinas is right? Well, because that's in our tradition what we've accepted as one of our points.
Right.
Like, because some other philosopher might have said something else. We thought that was a heresy. So that's not a part of our tradition.
So it's almost like, you know, when they say it is a convention, it's a convention. I was thinking of the word, but like, you know, we say that light, we assume that light has the same speed going and coming back, right?
Okay.
That's a convention, right? So basically, like, if your eyes perceive something, you assume that it's the same speed that your eyes take the light it takes to get to the object and then come back to your eye. But it could be the case. It could be the case. We don't know. It could be the case that going to perceive the object, the light going to the object takes longer, and then instantaneously comes back to your eye. It could be that case. We don't know for a fact, right? But it's a convention in science or in physics or whatever. So that's how
conventions are basically kind of like assumptions in a way.
It's an assumption.
Like, assume that's how it works.
Right. So I'm just pointing that out because he's saying it's a tradition. He's not saying this is fact.
Yeah.
Language that's at the same time philosophically precise and gnomic. It's both accurate. It's true. God, essence, and existence coincide. What God is the same as God's active to be. But now, what does that mean? I'm not quite sure, because nothing in our ordinary experience corresponds to that. Everything in our experience is a being of some type. So it's existence received according to the mode.
Most people, I think, are probably going to be like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But the thing is, when I was in high school, I did a whole course studying Aristotle's logic.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was in college, we studied Aquinas. And you could not understand Aquinas if you had not understood Aristotle.
Oh.
Because Aquinas took Aristotle and then used it to prove God, Christianity, blah, 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 blah. Like, he took the concepts of Aristotle, like being, final cause, efficient cause, blah, 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 like all this stuff, like substance, potentiality, actuality, like all these different points. And he used it to explain what God is using Aristotelian logic. So that's what Aquinas is. So when he's talking about the essence of God, the essence is a word in Aristotelian logic. Okay, there's essence and then there's form. There's like all these different concepts. Okay, so he's using, again, this kind of goes back to science and language and equal money system. Where he's like how they use language that it's not that they're lying about the meanings of the words. They're just using the words that you don't understand the meaning of them. So you're like, yeah, I'm just going to believe the priest, God. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really understand what he's basically, it's kind of like the neuroscientist.
Yeah.
Where they're like, look, I'm the expert of the brain and I don't know shit.
Right.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. We don't know anything. That's what this guy's basically doing. He's like, look, at the highest levels, I don't really understand what he was talking about. We don't really know what God is. We just don't know. Like, I don't know. It's like not, but everyone else is like, no, the neuroscientists, they understand the brain. We understand the brain. And you're like, no, if you talk to them, they'll tell you, we don't know anything.
Right.
But you think they know something. So you look at them as the expert. You don't realize when I say the experts don't know anything, I don't know how people might interpret that. It's like almost like you're just anti-expert.
Like you're being pompous or something like that.
Yeah. And it's like, no, go talk to them. They don't know anything. Okay.
Right.
Mode of some essence. That's not true of God, which is why he can't be found in the world. And that's, as I say, the fundamental mistake is, I guess theists are those that believe there's this being alongside the other beings in the universe. And then atheists say, oh, no, there is no such being. And that's precisely wrong. That's just a category error. Dawkins, I think, cites Bertrand Russell to the effect that proving the non-existence of God is a bit like proving the non-existence of a China teapot orbiting between Earth and Mars. And no, that's precisely what God is not. Some entity that's sort of hidden among the other entities of the universe. God is the reason why there's a contingent realm at all. That's the way to put it. In more theological language, God's the creator of all things.
So if God is outside of our world, is it possible for us to visualize, to comprehend, to know God?
Not utterly, of course. And I would say our knowledge begins always in this world, begins in ordinary experience. But I think we can, through metaphysical analysis, through philosophical reasoning, can come to some knowledge of a reality which is transcendent to our experience.
I'm going to have to jump in really quick. I didn't plan on doing this, but
I do.
Okay.
I just want to say really quick that if God were only in the abstract, only sort of that, the it behind all being and what he's saying here, then I would kind of agree with the limitations of our ability to know him. But let me tease to the end of the video here. There is a way in which God is much more knowable. We're going to get into that at the end.
So we gesture toward it. I always like Aquinas, who says the language.
Without violating our first original assumption that God is not a being? Well, we'll see. Okay. Sorry for the teaser.
Which about God that we use is analogical. So it's not univocal, meaning what I say about that, can or about this bottle, I can say about God. No, that makes God an entity. At the same time, it's not simply equivocal. So if I say, well, that thing is and God is, I mean totally different things. No, I mean something analogous. Mm-hmm. So to be God is to be. So the real meaning of being is the being of God. The being of that thing or this thing, or the being of galaxies or subatomic particles would be analogous to God's manner of being. So on that basis, I can make some statements. I can theorize, and even at the limit, as you suggest, I can.
But they're all analogous.
So we have metaphors for God, and
I can have conclusions those, right? that I draw, but they're analogous.
God's like a lion. God's like this and that. Or the Bible will sometimes imagine God as a human being walking around. Now only the crudest fundamentalism would say, well, that's a univocal, accurate description of God. It's an image that's catching something of God's manner of being.
Then
Oh,
What does it
I thought you were
mean
taking a breath.
to believe in God? So there's a word, and we have to limit ourselves to human interpretable words today.
Mhm.
There's a word called faith. What does faith mean? So if we can't really directly know God, you kind of sneak up to the idea of God with metaphors.
Better, he sneaks up on us. Because I like the language of grace. God's action comes
Like
first.
a pervert.
So if I stay perfectly within the realm of I'm seeking with my kind of eagle eyes and my inquiring mind, I'm not going to find God that way. I might find a path
God touched
that
me.
opens up. But I would say finally God finds me. And I think then the language of faith begins to make more sense.
He said, God touched me. He said, God finds me. The priest finds the child. Anyway.
I'm with Paul Tillich, though, the Protestant theologian, said the most misunderstood word in the religious vocabulary is faith. Because he said the way we take it usually is something subrational. You know, I have proof of this. I really know this, and I only kind of believe that. That's just a personal opinion or impression. But that's to identify faith with the kind of infra-rational, and that's not it. I mean, I don't want something infra-rational. I don't want superstition or childish credulity. So authentic faith is the darkness beyond reason, and on the far side of reason. It's supra-rational, not infra-rational. And that's a very important move. At the limit of what I can know, at the limit of my striving and my vision, there's this horizon that opens up. And I think that's true even in ordinary ways of knowing. There's a kind of a horizon that lures us beyond what I've got. Faith has to do more with that kind of darkness rather than a darkness prior to reason.
The darkness beyond the horizon, prior to reason. First of all, the poetry of your language is incredible. To be. I have a million questions.
Yeah, go ahead. I do too on this.
So first of all, let me just jump around.
It's just your obligatory Lex Friedman jerk off your guest. Okay, next.
You mentioned to be a few times.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, to be me is to be a human being, right?
Yeah.
To be this is to be a table, to be this is to be a microphone. So I'll use Aquinas' language. It's the act of being poured, if you want, into the receptacle of some essential principle. So it's got an ontological structure. It's an existent, it's a thing that exists, but it's existing in a limited way according to an essential principle. God.
What did he just say? like the average person is like,
right. That's what I'm saying. You need to study Aristotle to understand what they're saying. So,
right?
Yeah.
So, well, what's God? Tolkien or someone that writes one of these big, sprawling novels. And Tolkien's good too because he creates a whole world. He creates a new nature, a new language, new history, all that. Think of the thousands of characters and the plots and subplots and all of it. Tolkien is utterly responsible for every bit of that story, right? Every character, every plot, every subplot, every description. He's completely responsible. He's involved in every nook and cranny of it. But he's not in the story. He's not in the book. You're not.
I think that's really important. Just pause there. Okay. All right. Got a good understanding of God? Good.
Going to find him as a character
Not in
the
the story.
So that's the category mistake of the atheist in a way is I'm looking for God. He's a character in the story somewhere. No, he's the author of the story.
Right.
Mysteriously
He's not in the
present
story.
to every aspect of the story, but not a character in it.
He's not in the story, guys. It's not like he would come to Earth and interact in the reality because it's not in the story because it's not a being. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what he's saying here is just as the existence of the book is evidence of its author, so too is the existence of the universe a testament to its creator. When you look at a book, you can see the book itself, but you can also see the words, the structure, the phrases, the information inside the book, and that is all testifying to the mind that is responsible for the book. Similarly, the existence of the universe itself, that there is anything rather than nothing, is evidence, but also, additionally, the laws of physics and chemistry, the universal constants, the fact that there is a literal vast storehouse of information inside of every single cell in your body, etc. All of this is testifying to the mind responsible for these things. As C.S. Lewis said, I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. Lewis is pointing to the fact that God's presence is not only evident, but that it's also something that illuminates our understanding of the world. But let's go now beyond the abstract knowledge, because just accepting that God exists, while necessary, is not sufficient. The next obvious question that any thinking person would ask here is God knowable? Is God just a concept? Well, I'm here to tell you that he's not just a theological concept, but he is a transformative reality, because God has looked at the human condition and seen it for what it is. Of course, that's not shocking. But what is shocking is that he has chosen to get his hands dirty, that he has chosen to get into the mess, and that he has chosen to become a rescuer of us in the midst of the problem that we have created. The author has entered into the story and become its hero.
That we created.
Are we created?
No, that we created. The mess that we created.
Oh, is that what he says?
Chosen to get into the mess, and that he has chosen to become a rescuer of us in the midst of the problem that we have created.
That is what he says.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
we created it.
We created that mess.
At least we're admitting this. Okay.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. It wasn't God who created it.
No, God, he did not create the problem. He
No.
created the story.
Mhm.
And the problem is
Created the
part of
mess.
the story, but okay.
Yeah.
We
author
created
has
the
entered
problem.
into the story and become its hero. J.R.R. Tolkien, author of Lord of the Rings, said that the Gospels contain a fairy story, or a story of a larger kind which embraces the essence of all fairy stories. But this story has entered history and the primary world. For Tolkien, the incarnation was the ultimate fairy tale come true, with God himself stepping into history to redeem and restore it. So Jesus' life, death, and resurrection tell us that God does not want to simply be believed in, nor did he come to impart just teaching or wisdom to us, but he has entered into the story to be its savior, the hero who overcomes the world's darkness. Tim Keller writes that Jesus didn't come to tell us the answers to the questions of life. He came to be the answer. In Jesus, the abstract becomes concrete. The infinite becomes personal. Christ came to rescue you from sin and death and to give you eternal life. Take hold of the hand of salvation. Repent and believe that Jesus Christ is Lord, because you're not perfect and he is. And yet, even in looking down at our imperfection and our own moral failures and our own contribution to the problem of evil, he has still chosen to love us enough to actually die for us so that we could be with him. Along similar lines, if you are interested in anything that I'm saying and not just triggered by it, you're welcome.
Not just triggered by it. All right. I'm so triggered right now, guys. I am fucking triggered. Oh my God. Okay, so let's go back to WWE. No, but the very first part, they said God is not a being. Not a being. He said that is precisely what God is not.
So, you know what I didn't realize, because I wasn't watching it when I listened to it for whatever reason, and I also didn't recognize that I was listening to a different voice. But I didn't realize it wasn't the first guy who says that J.R.R. Tolkien, writes the story or whatever, and he's not in the story. I thought it was him contradicting himself, but it's this other guy who's contradicting him to say that, oh yeah, he enters the story. It's not the priest who is saying that
he enters the story.
Right.
True. Yeah. But then doesn't the priest believe in Jesus and that Jesus is
yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, he didn't say it.
He didn't say it
I don't
explicitly.
see how he'd have to argue somehow that yes, God incarnated as a being but he is not a being, but he could become a being.
Right. Yeah.
So then what you're saying? He's not but he said he's precisely not a teacup.
But the reason why he's bringing that part in, the second guy, why he's bringing in that part of why the being that he enters the story, the author enters the story, is because he's saying otherwise God would not be knowable. Like you could believe in God, but you would not be able to know God or have a relationship with God.
He didn't say that's why he does it. He's just said, is God knowable? Yes, he is, because he entered the story. Not he entered the story so he's knowable.
Okay.
He entered the story to be the savior, because he looked at the situation.
I wasn't saying why God enters the story.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying why he gives that explanation of because he wants to make the point that he is knowable. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, it's not just about God must exist.
Right.
Because it's the ground of all being. We can also know things about God, not just that he exists.
Right.
Okay, so let's just take this point. So essentially, this guy has a very specific explanation of it, but to me, it really encapsulates what everyone actually believes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does a really good job of articulating the behind the scenes of what everyone actually is believing, whether they realize it or not. Kind of like with the Olympics, you don't realize you're participating in a satanic ritual.
Right.
But when you start to analyze it and break it down, what's the purpose of all it, you realize oh shit, when people do satanic rituals, it's for the same reason that they're doing the Olympics ceremony and shit, and the Olympics themselves. It's actually the same function.
Because again, where does that energy go? Where does that money go?
It's not about Satan.
Right.
Because that's why when people look at, Satan worshipers or something, you're totally misunderstanding, because I've read Aleister Crowley. I know what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with Satan per se. It's got to do with they're trying to do this thing to get energy out of it. Right. We got time. I'm going to play a clip that Katie sent me.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me get it.
You're saying going back to WWE just on this?
Yeah, I just meant it as a joke, but.
Oh, I thought you were going to go into why do you have to have a story?
Hold on. What's going on here?
I just see a blank screen.
Yeah, I know.
Do you also see a blank screen?
Let me send it to you. I don't know why my Instagram is not.
You have your Instagram blocked?
I don't think so. Here, I'll put it to you on this one.
Okay.
Shows up on the text.
All right. I got it, I think.
I don't want to share my text messages.
No. Russell Brand. That one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, baby. Okay, here we go. Here, I'll just share it like normal.
Opening ceremony depicts the Last Supper, or at least some images taken from a Renaissance image of the Last Supper. This is from
Renaissance.
Mark. While they were eating, Jesus took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take it, this is my body." Then he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank from it. And he describes the nature of the covenant, and goes on in Mark's gospel to say, "You will all fall away, you will betray me, you will deny me." And this is just verses before he enters Gethsemane for a night of prayer that precedes his trial and torture. I wonder what the function of the Olympics is. People might say it's just sort of an entertainment spectacle, but of course it's a massive commercial commodity. Look at the amount of revenue it generates, and maybe spend some time looking at who sponsors it, who spends most money on it. There'll be recognizable commercial and corporate brands. You could query perhaps
Russell
what
Brands.
Their impact is. Inclusivity is a beautiful idea, for surely Jesus loves all of us, forgives all of us, died for all of us. I do wonder what these signs and ceremonies indicate, especially as I was in one once in 2012. Looking back at that, it was pretty crazy. Things have changed. Let me know what you think about that Olympic ceremony and its meaning.
He was in an Olympic ceremony?
I think he meant he was in a satanic ritual.
Oh.
Especially because I was in an orgy once.
Things have changed.
And now I think back and maybe they were trannies.
Hey, it sounds right. Yeah.
I might have to rebrand. I have to become a tranny. A Christian tranny.
Transform myself.
The cross becomes a T for T therapy, for hormones. It's your T.
You have low T.
Maybe you should need some Christianity.
Buy my cups of Christianity. That's interesting because
it's got trace. It's got trace T therapy in it.
When he does his YouTube, it's like very much like yelling at you a lot of the time. This is a very different Russell Brand, laid back.
He's like, but I like how he's like, the Olympic ceremonies full of sponsors and commercial products, and okay, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor. This time is Christianity.
Dude. Okay. Have you seen? Was it you who sent it to me a long time ago? That Hallow. The Hallow.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, the Hallow app. Yeah.
That thing is weird. That thing is so fucking weird. But like, you look at all the celebrities that they have, and what the app, all the commercials that they do, and what the app is for, and everything. And you've got like, I know Candace Owens is like, Hallow is one of our sponsors. I don't know if Russell Brand, same thing, but probably. I know they've got who's the guy from Taken? Neil, what's that face you're making? Yes.
I had heard this thing of like somehow Peter Thiel owns part of it or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know
shit.
I don't know if that's true, but I just looked up the app. I looked it up and I went to the Wikipedia. Do you know who the CEO of Hallow is?
No. Who is it? Who is it?
Hold on. Maybe it's just the same name, but it's not the same person.
Oh, yeah. suspense here. The suspense.
It's got to be okay. It's not the same person.
Oh.
I was like, the name of the CEO of Hallow is Alex Jones. So I was like, what? It's a different Alex Jones.
Okay.
I was like, this cannot be real.
That's hilarious.
Dude, yeah, okay. I was like, no, I had to check that first. Imagine like all I saw was that, and I start making like posts on Twitter and Instagram, like Alex Jones is actually behind CEO. Look, it's the CEO, you know, and you're like,
Yeah.
you could have literally just done like one more search.
One more Google search.
Peter Thiel, Hallow, hold on. Peter Thiel email address. Hallow.
I'm gonna send him an
Trying to find if he is an investor. Peter Thiel, Series B, $40 million. Hallow.
Wow.
Yeah, they got 40 million from Peter Thiel.
Wow. Okay. So the app is already, dude.
Okay.
Dude.
Oh, dude, this connects the dots.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Holy shit. Wow.
Okay.
It really okay. Wow.
We started talking about this, or did we talk about this? I don't think we talked about this on the last podcast, the Hulk Hogan thing. Did we?
No, that's what. No, I don't think so.
Fuck.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Let's break it down.
We got some beans, dude.
Okay.
You ever seen The Office? Remember when Kevin spills his chili? That's about to be. That's gonna be like, get ready to clean up.
All right. So, if you watched the RNC or you just saw clips of it, you may have seen that Hulk Hogan was at the Republican National Convention ripping his shirt off.
And it's like a MAGA shirt underneath or something.
Yeah. He's like, but when you come for my president,
make America great again, brother.
It's cute. Anyway, I thought that was just like okay, cool. Hulk Hogan.
They're hyping everybody up. They got Hulk Hogan. Like, I don't see the connection, but cool.
Yeah, I mean, they got.
It's weird that they're bringing in the WWE connection into the whole thing. It's a little on the nose, but
a little bit. You know, just like, come on. It's
like we're jumping the shark. You heard that term?
Yeah,
that's a little bit like what's going on. You're like,
and we just connect this and that, and like, okay, all right, the show's getting a little crazy now.
Everyone's like comparing it to Idiocracy. You know, President Camacho, right?
Yeah.
That's why I said, dude, if Rock announces his candidacy, The Rock for president, it's like, you know, it's over, dude. You know it.
Yeah. We're in the season finale, guys. We're in the season finale, obviously. We're getting close. But okay, what was it? Oh, yeah. Hulk Hogan.
Hulk.
Right. The Hulk. Hulk Hogan.
Not the Hulk.
Not the Hulk. He's different. He's different than the Hulk. But Hulk Hogan, I thought it was just like, you know, Kid Rock is, you know, friends with Trump and Hulk Hogan, I guess, too, you know, kind of.
It's like patriotic America.
It's really, because it gives you a really like redneck feel. That's what I get from Hulk Hogan. That's what I get from
They're
Kid
going
Rock.
for the hillbillies.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I get it, right? And then I was talking to someone literally the next day, and I was telling him about like the Peter Thiel connection with JD Vance, and he was like, "Who's Peter Thiel?" And so I'm describing Peter Thiel to him, and I'm like, "I know,
Hold on,
dude.
Do you need help lifting the rock that you live under,
dude? So many fucking people don't know who Peter Thiel is. So many fucking people have no idea who he is. It's crazy to me. Like,
oh, you know why? Because they live under a rock. Because they're Christian and Christ is their rock. Maybe it was Peter, but whatever.
Peter is, he's the rock.
I don't know. I pray to Jesus. I go to church. It's all good. It's all going to work out. Anyways.
So Peter Thiel. Peter is the rock. There you go. He's the rock that they live under. Literally. You have a Facebook, you have an Instagram, you live under Peter's rock.
Black Rock,
yeah. You use PayPal, eBay, yeah, it's Peter. So anyway, I was describing to him like just how well like
Maybe
how,
just tell everybody who Peter Thiel is real quick.
Okay, Peter Thiel was one of the co-founders, one of the original co-founders of PayPal and eBay, and he was like PayPal before it was PayPal. Like,
Let me share the business.
Yes, yeah, please. His wiki. Okay, cool.
Co-founder of PayPal, Palantir, which, you know, big data analytics, weapon systems, Project Palantir Gotham. Which, if you don't know what that is, remember that Batman one where the guy can like see everything with the cell data and stuff? That's literally the Lord of the Name. The company's name is derived from Lord of the Rings, where the magical Palantir were seeing stones described as indestructible balls of crystal used for communication and to see events in the world. Trump, crystal ball.
Wait, go back. You had it already.
It's right here. This is what we're talking about. It's for oh, go away.
Just go to images.
The Global Center for Combating Extremist Ideology. It's to be able to track everything you do online.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. Before we go, let me add some. I gotta add some chilies to the pot real quick before we spill it, because otherwise it won't be spicy enough.
Oh, okay.
Let me pull up this little. Open it with preview. Let me open this little. Okay. Let me give you this happy meal. Edward Snowden just gave an existential warning to all Americans. If you stick out, you will become a non-normative, an anomaly. Snowden warns that within 5 to 10 years, big data will track big data.
Oh,
my data is the biggest. I've got the biggest data.
Dada.
We'll track every data. Dude, there's this crazy character in Ultraman called Data. That's like DADA. But it's like a computer virus that becomes like an alien being thing, and he's super creepy, but it's also playing on the idea of Dada, you know, like the art form.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I don't know that art form. Wait, I do.
Like Dadaism?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Snowden warns that within 5 to 10 years, big data will track every aspect. Big data. I know we just made the joke, but I just got it. It's like Big Brother, but it's big data.
Yeah, big data.
It's Big Daddy.
Daddy. Yeah, that's what I'm freaking saying.
I know, I got that, but then I just didn't make the connection of it being Big Daddy, you know. Big Daddy.
Yeah.
I got the joke, but I didn't get the joke.
I got you.
We'll track every aspect of our lives on the blockchain in order to create predictive behavioral models. These models will control whether or not you are given a loan, whether or not you'll be hired for a new job, and how you participate in the marketplace.
That's your daddy.
Okay. Let me go back. What is the whole purpose of Palantir? Big data analytics. The crystal ball, see everything you do. Why? To prevent you from being extreme. Remember the extreme ideology? I was just showing that.
Yeah.
Extreme ideology. And he's in Saudi Arabia, combating extreme ideology. Is Christianity an extreme ideology? Peter Thiel saw Palantir as a mission-oriented company to reduce terrorism while preserving civil liberties. In QTEL. Wow. Okay, anyway, sorry, I don't mean to go back. Okay, so he was the first outside investor in Facebook, which, as we've talked about, maybe or haven't, was just the continuation of a government program called LifeLog.
Yeah.
We have the on the playlist is that talk with Whitney Webb.
Yep.
Served as CEO for PayPal. I didn't know PayPal was sold to eBay. Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. So part-time partner at Y Combinator.
What happened?
I almost spilled your beans. You want me to?
Yeah, no, hang on. Because no, there's more. Like, okay, basically, here's the deal. Peter Thiel is so well connected. He's so well connected, right? It's a surprise that he's only worth. I think his net worth is only like 11 billion, right? That is a big, huge surprise to me because of the reach that this guy has, right? But it says a little bit above that. He says he was controversially granted New Zealand citizenship after basically he got the citizenship. They have a requirement to spend 1350 days, 1,350 days, right? That is several years, 4 years, basically, right? And he spent only 12 days, non-consecutive days in the country. And he was like, yeah, I want to be a citizen. And they were like, done. Like, it should tell you the kind of reach that this guy has. He's in really great connection with a lot of political people, right? And a lot of people in Silicon Valley as well. And so anyway,
oh yeah, he's like, yeah, he's a big deal. You don't know about him, and that should tell you something.
Right.
But I mean, it's not hard to know about him.
Right. Anyway, so here's the connection with Hulk Hogan. He funded a lawsuit between Hulk Hogan and Gawker, which
I don't know if people remember this. I remember that whole thing with Hulk, because he had that reality show.
Yep. Like Hogan Knows Best.
Yeah, and I don't know what was the lawsuit about. They were like slandering him.
It says it later on. Like if you go scroll down, or if you scroll down, it should say it. Should be like Gawker lawsuit. There it is. Boom.
Oh, the sex tape. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, he had a sex tape. Okay, so he had a sex tape, and then they put it up, and they were making some commentary, and they were standing by, like, basically, Hulk Hogan was like, "Hey, can you take that down?" Like, he sent them a cease and desist, and they said, "No, we're a news organization. We can put it up if we want to because we're making a commentary on this, and we're going to leave it up." And so then Hulk Hogan sues, and then Peter Thiel bankrolls the lawsuit because he's like, yeah, I don't like those guys anyway, because they outed Peter Thiel as being gay. But then I don't know if it says it here, but someone said, well, they didn't really out Peter Thiel because everybody in Silicon Valley knew he was gay. So,
but he doesn't want it in the media.
Right.
Because how are you going to mind control a bunch of dumbass, gullible Christian people if they realize you're gay?
Right. Yeah. Or at least at that time, anyway. Now it seems like they don't care.
Well, why don't they care? Did you watch the Republican National Convention?
I watched some of it.
You got all the America blah 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 stuff, but then you got like, it's like this influence of like, hey, remember what did Amber Rose say?
Yeah, it's all love.
He doesn't care if you're gay, straight, black, white. It's all love. Why are they doing this, right?
Yeah. So they can.
Okay, keep going. Okay, so Gawker. So you see, there's this obvious connection between Peter Thiel and Hulk Hogan.
Just so you know, Hulk Hogan ended up winning, or they settled with Hulk Hogan for $30 million. So Hulk Hogan got paid, right? I don't even think he's worth $30 million. But he got paid. So if anything, at the very least, Hulk Hogan would, as a favor to Peter Thiel, be like, yeah, whatever you need, whatever you want. Like, I got $30 million because of you. Like, he wasn't even named in the lawsuit. He's like, I'll fund it, Yeah. And so it's really interesting from the perspective of, you don't know who this guy is, even though he is knowable. It's kind of like God. Okay, but you don't know who he is, right? And he's got so many connections, hidden connections that you're unaware of. And especially because a lot of what he does is like basically contracting for the government, but in the private sphere. So in the
similar to Elon Musk.
Yeah. So he has all this freedom in the private sphere, but technically he works for the government, or he's an arm of the government, you could say.
Yeah, if the government wasn't getting a bunch of money from whatever sources and then giving those contracts, that's where they're getting their money from, is from the government contracts.
Right. Also, the initiatives that he does allows the government to continue doing that, because basically what he's involved in is a complete surveillance program, mind control program that influences the general public so that the government can continue keeping its power and manipulating and influencing people. So it's like in their best interest to keep giving that guy money.
So since we're getting close to time, let me try to spill some more beans. Like basically, so you got the Peter Thiel Why is Hulk Hogan there? You see the Peter Thiel connection again. Peter Thiel, that for a certain period of time, JD Vance was a business partner of Peter Thiel. So now you've got JD Vance there. You've also got the influence in the conservative part of like think about this. Okay, so let's go back. This is a cool point Katie has brought in, which is go back to all the Ashenbrenner stuff. Remember that, right? Where this guy gave this long interview. He left OpenAI, was talking about basically like, we want to build these super massive fucking data centers.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Peter Thiel would want that?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Who's going to fund it?
You're going to need a lot of fucking funding.
And who possibly could raise that capital? It doesn't even exist.
There's no individual.
It has to be printed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for us to like think about this, why do we have a tax system, right? There's that clip from the El Salvador president where he's like, the reason you pay taxes is to uphold the idea that you're funding the government when you're not. The government is funded by just printing money.
Right.
It's at interest. And that's why they have to sell the bonds and all this business. And, we know that whole story.
Yeah.
So, but then the question would be immediately, well, why can't we print the money to feed everybody? Why do I have to go to work to afford, like, we can print money for the government to do stuff like build data centers. I mean, you could argue that's in the public interest. I suppose you could argue that, but we can't print the money for the government to just feed us.
Well, we'd go into debt.
Well, no, because you could just print more money. Like Alan Greenspan said, technically we can't ever default. We can never go bankrupt because we could just print more money.
Did he actually
That's what he said.
Publicly?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Because we're the world reserve currency.
Right.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. What happens when we're no longer the world reserve currency, when we go off of that?
Sorry, Katie was asking me, did you get kicked off of Facebook?
We did.
Is it still on there?
Let me check.
Maybe she just needs to reload it.
Yeah. No,
is it back on?
It should be back on. It says we're live. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe someone else can confirm.
Maybe not. If you can hear my voice, clap once or make a comment.
Okay. If you can hear our voice, tell us. Anyways, okay. So, what was the point there? What were we just talking about?
World reserve currency. Oh, we can print more
currency,
money.
Print more money.
Yeah. So why?
Like, imagine if people, if people are like, why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Like, so you have this whole system to make it seem like, oh no, like it doesn't work like that. You can't just print money, like, to do stuff. But that is what happens anyways. But it kind of has this illusion of like, oh no, you can't, that's not how it works, but it is how it works.
Yeah.
So you have this piece that everyone participates in, thinking that it's maintaining the illusion somehow, right?
Yeah. Because if you could just print money, then why would I have to pay taxes?
Well, not only that though, like, why wouldn't we make sure everyone has a house, make sure everyone has, like,
yeah. But I'm saying, like, the piece that makes it like feel like,
yeah, exactly. Like, clearly we can't,
because,
like, we have to fund the money from the government comes from us paying the taxes. Like, well, that's not what we're going to get $1 trillion to build a data center.
Definitely not.
It ain't going to come from that. It's not possible. So they have to print the money. So, somebody texted me, said we're still alive. Oh, Keith did. Yeah, Katie probably just didn't realize she didn't reload it, maybe. Katie, just reload your Facebook page since you can't hear us. Okay.
Giselle did also say she can't see the podcast anymore.
Okay, well,
This
Keith said we're
content
still
is
alive.
unavailable is what it says. The Keith
Maybe they
can
have to
still hear
reload
us.
it.
Yeah. How do we tell them to reload it? They can't.
Yeah, just reload it, guys. Just reload the page.
Yeah, let me
I'm trying to tell you, just reload it.
Let me type a comment.
Okay, so I'll keep going while you do that. Okay, anyway, so I've been saying this for a while now, that the whole where the system is going is a total control system using AI, using technology. So that, like we said before, there will be no, what was that quote from the China?
Yeah. No place under heaven that
you won't be able to take a step on heaven, in heaven, which is everywhere.
It would be like the discredited won't be able to like free for whoever's good.
Yeah, the discredited won't be able to take a single step in heaven,
Yeah.
which means heaven and earth,
Yeah.
without basically without permission. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you're discredited in the system, in other words, like that quote we were just reading about, the one I shared a minute ago, right? Where it's basically saying like if you're non-normative, from Edward Snowden, if you're non-normative, you're seen as not right, so you're discredited. And heaven, if you think about it, is really just virtual reality. Like heaven is the mind level of reality. So you won't be able to move anywhere in that mind reality.
Yeah.
Because you won't have permission, because you can't, your computer won't work properly. You won't have the right code, access code, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's being created, because these people, like not just Peter Thiel, but BlackRock and so forth, they have investments, and the world is their cash cow. They want to make sure that their investments keep producing money and they don't lose money. So they want to create an AI where they always win. Imagine anybody who could, if you could make a little device that you plug into a slot machine and you always win, wouldn't you try to do that if you could get away with it? That's what everybody kind of imagine. It's like why you try to learn systems of like blackjack where you can always win. Like you're trying to increase the odds in your favor.
That's the
fucking game.
That's the whole plot of the movie Ocean's 11,
right?
And 12 and 13 and whatever.
So that's the purpose of all this big data. Actually, they say they're always saying it's like, oh, it's to stop people from being hurt and everything. And it's like, no, it's so you can win because you control it. So if you could do all that, wouldn't you try to get in? So I'm just going to quick connect some dots. Assassination attempt happens. Nobody knows, is it real, not real? We don't know. All we know is it made Trump look like a badass. He survived. It looked like the government's out to get him or somebody's out to get him. Immediately, Elon Musk goes, I endorse Trump. What's that? Bill Ackerman, I endorse Trump. All these people are like, oh, I actually like Trump. I just didn't want to say it before, but it's time. All the big tech, everything is, Mark Zuckerberg says he looked like a total badass. It made me feel good about being American. I'm paraphrasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like Aschenbrenner said, we can't let the Chinese and Iran and all these guys get the AI because then we're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be able to move mountains to create these massive data centers that just one of them would use 20% of the current power grid in the US. So we're going to have to build. Well, who do we know knows how to do that? Donald Trump.
Oh, okay.
He knows how to build shit.
Yeah.
And he knows how to negotiate and make deals and do all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So he's the guy. Like Biden ain't going to fucking negotiate shit. Kamala Harris ain't going to negotiate anything. So Kamala Harris is like the guy against The Rock or whatever, right? Whoever that would be, right? It's like you got to have somebody in there who's like the bad guy in all this, right? So you've got all this, and then where does the Christianity part come in? Because that's how you manipulate the Christians. Sorry, that's how you manipulate the Republicans, is with the Christianity part.
Yeah.
But you don't want them to really actually only do it for the Christianity, because then you don't really have control, because it's like a different authority source.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring in all the other stuff, gay, whatever, all that stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a watered down form of Christianity, but it's using that as a symbol that you feel like, okay, I kind of want to be on this side. I definitely want to be on that side.
Yeah.
So the Olympics is just like in your face, like driving you even more towards that side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that it's the master plan. Maybe it is, but it's having that effect.
Yeah.
The purpose of a system is what it's doing. So I don't have to know if someone's behind it. It's a machine that's happening, right? So you've got all the big tech money now backing Trump and backing Republican for the purpose of becoming the dictator of the world through AI. Not Trump himself, but like the AI and those who own it to become the dictator of the world so that they can continue to have that cash cow.
Yeah.
So it's like the Vince McMahon, but on the outside of the show.
Yeah.
But he's also in the show playing the drama game, but he's actually outside the show and he's really just using all this as a way to make billions of dollars.
Right. Yeah.
That's what's going on. And this is what I've been trying to explain to everybody is you're participating in patterns and you're allowing that in the bigger picture. So you believe that God created a story and then he entered the story. Right. It's like you're basically saying, I believe reality works as like sort of a WWE reality show where there's also an outside layer where there's a God benefiting in a way, you know what I mean, on the outside as well. And he's outside the story, but he can also be in the story. It's like you're really just saying you believe. It's like if you read Hobbes, you learn about Leviathan, and Leviathan is the structure of government that's there. Jack Posobiec keeps referring to Leviathan in his interview with Tucker Carlson. He never says what it means because I guess he's assuming everyone knows that. Or maybe it's just become a term people understand, Leviathan, when he's saying that.
Yeah.
But it's referring to like the apparatus that's in front of your face that's not real. So it's like he explains in there, the reason you have senators and congressmen is so you can get angry at them.
Right.
But they're not the ones making the decisions, but you think they are. So all your anger is directed towards something that has no effect.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, all this is culminating in directing America with the fake patriotism, with the fake fight against trans. Because what did Elon Musk come out all about?
Oh yeah, upset about his son being a daughter now.
Right, but he went along with all the trans thing. He didn't know he was manipulated, so he's playing into it. Also, just to put the final point, I mean, I think it's clear what I'm trying to say here, but let me just show you this real quick. Where is Elon Musk from?
South Africa. Where's Peter Thiel from?
Germany.
Oh. But, lived in South Africa.
What? Look, he is a fan of
J.R.R. Tolkien.
What? You can't make the coincidences. Like, why are we just talking about J.R.R. Tolkien?
Yeah.
Why does all the Christians like J.R.R. Tolkien? Because he was like, oh, the gospel's a fairy tale that's actually true.
Yeah.
It came true because God, it's like, okay, so if Tolkien then writes himself into the story, that makes the Lord of the Rings true.
Right.
What it makes, but if Tolkien was, what if Tolkien had instead, like on his deathbed, was like, actually, it's to show everybody that fairy tales are just fairy tales and they're not real, and everyone would be like, oh, fuck this Tolkien guy.
Right.
It's like, but because he said no, Christianity is a fairy tale that came real. It's like maybe he just said that because he knew later that would be the only way his shitty stories would live like on forever. You know, it'd be made into boring really ass movies.
Yeah. It sounds really poetic. Yeah. No, okay. I think you tied up a lot of the things. The Vince McMahon, the WWE, all of it. Like, I wanted to also hit this point. The Elon Musk saying that Christianity has become toothless. What is that implying?
We should go to war.
Exactly.
We should fight.
Right.
Pick up your cross, turn it over. It's a sword.
Right. And okay, the other point being as well, like, you don't know about Peter Thiel. You do know about Bill Gates. Bill Gates is apparently the fall guy.
He's out. He's out.
Yeah, he's clearly like, oh, he's evil. Everybody hates Bill Gates now.
He's an evil nerd.
But who does everybody love?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, of course. Everyone loves
cool guy, badass.
And he's the guy who's coming up with the fucking chip that you put inside your brain. Right? Like,
and wait, did he ever work at PayPal? With Peter Thiel? Pretty sure he did. Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure.
He's also from South Africa. Oh, that's it. Weird coincidences. Weird coincidences. How that all happens. It's also like a lot of Tesla. The reason why Tesla became as big as it could was because they got a lot of government contracts too, right? Like a lot of the funding came from the government. I'm just saying. You think he's a really great guy and everything. Is this written into the script?
PayPal with Thiel was getting funding with Thiel. Remember, he was the CEO. They continued to grow through mergers in 2000 with Elon Musk's online financial services company called
X.
X.com.
Yes. X has been around for at least 24 years.
And that's what he wants. He bought Twitter. He wants it to become like a financial platform.
Yeah. And to do a lot more than just tweet. He wants it to be like your everything, your media sources.
I mean, it is becoming that, like with the spaces, and then with the point where like the Trump assassination news was broke on there first.
Wow.
Before the mainstream was able to break it. They showed like the timeline.
So it's just like Facebook, where we were talking about, like, that is a government project where, you know, it tracks everything that you do or whatever. And then day that they killed the government side of it, Facebook
They won't have to
launched.
ask your opinion. They
Right.
already will know it.
Right.
It's what you looked at, liked, tweeted back, replied, looked at longer, searched for. It'll all be in that one place. Read Otherland.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Last minute.
We got to go. I got to clean up all these beans I spilled all over the floor.
All right, guys. We will see you on the next one next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.